Tarot family? Hey there, welcome to another reading with me, the Empress of Fortune. I'm so grateful that you chose to be here with me today. I'm super excited for this reading. We're doing another reading about what is your zone of genius. Even if you watched the last one, this one may still have insight for you. If you don't find that you're attracted to any of these piles, there is another version of this reading on my YouTube channel page, so go ahead and check that out. There's a lot of pick a card readings and a lot of collective readings over there, so go ahead and take a look if you don't feel like your reading is here. It could be over there, you never know. We're going to start off with a little mini meditation. I would like to invite you guys to just close your eyes, take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it up at the top for at least 4 seconds, and release. If you need to pause the video to choose your pile, I would encourage you to do that. We do have timestamps in the description box down below. For each pile, there will be 2 timestamps. One is going to say pile whatever identifiers, and then the other one will say pile whatever reading. So the identifiers are what we do with this lip bowl right here. That's just extra confirmation for those who need it, that that pile is in fact for them. If you don't feel like you need that extra confirmation, if you feel very off the bat just attracted to a pile, you may want to skip the identifiers. That's totally up to you. Sometimes we do get really valuable information from them that sometimes has to do with the reading itself, so you never really know, but I typically will tell you during the main reading if that happened or not. Sometimes the identifiers are just purely to help people figure out if the reading is for them, so no pressure. That being said, let's go ahead and get into it. Right here, we've got pile 1 with the Oasis Illusions Tarot. This is like a newer deck to me. I got it from Etsy, very exciting. I love the design on the back. So cute. Here in pile 2, we've got the Pride Tarot. Love this back design as well. It says love is love, and it says it from both directions. I love how they were able to kind of do that, make it reflective. I think that's so cool. But yeah, I love this deck. It is like a collaborative tarot deck, so you may recognize some of the artwork from other decks where they kind of like cobbled it together. It's really cool. It's a very cool deck. One of my favorites for sure. And of course, actually I'm filming this now in June, so happy Pride Month, everybody. Shout out to all my LGBTQIA people out there. Love is love. We love you over here on this channel. We love us. And then last but not least, we've got the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot here for pile 3. Great deck as well. Very much kind of like a space kind of theme going on there, so interesting, but you don't have to be interested in space to choose that. But I like how the back is like starry night. I don't know if you can see, it's like black and white polka dots, but it's supposed to be like stars. Anyway, yeah, go ahead and choose your pile, and I will see you at your reading. See you soon. What's up there, pile 1? Welcome. We're going to get into our identifiers first, so let me go ahead and put these cards off to the side. If you don't want to watch this part of the reading, then there is another timestamp down below where we get straight to the part with the cards. You are more than welcome to do what's best for you. And if what's best for you is skipping the identifiers, then by all means, my friend, go ahead. Again, happy Pride Month to everybody who's watching this. Even if you're not watching it in June, this is a timeless reading, so it doesn't matter. But I just felt called to say that. Just welcoming in that beautiful energy of being proud of who you are. It doesn't, of course, Pride Month is supposed to be about celebrating people's differences when it comes to their sexualities and their lifestyles, but I'm also getting the messages of just like being proud of who you are in general, and not being ashamed to be who you are. And I think that that ties really well into this idea of like the zone of genius, because sometimes I feel like people might have unusual interests, and maybe because they are unusual, they don't really pay as much attention to them, especially if they are feeling shame or self-consciousness around them. So yeah, this is a call to just, be proud to be you. 'cause you're free to do what you want to do. Live your life. There's like a little white hair in there. My dog has white hair, so that could be an identifier for you as well. Spirit, my people in Pile 1. Who are my Pile 1 people? How will they know if this reading is for them? If they chose the Oasis Illusions Tarot, how will they know if this reading is truly theirs? Who's in Pile 1? So while I'm doing this, this is a perfect time for you to give this video a thumbs up, to subscribe to the channel. One. All right, there we go. Let's see what happens. Let's see what we got. So the way that these work is that at least one of the things in this pile on one of these slips should be really familiar to you, should stick out to you somehow in a way that's significant. It could just be like really significant in your life. Like, for example, if there's a song that comes out and that's your favorite song, that would mean it's significant in your life. We're also going to say that if something showed up in your life recently in the day-to-day and it was memorable somehow, or seeing it on the slip like triggers a memory, then that means that this pile is for you, this reading is for you. So for example, with the song again, like maybe it's not your favorite song, but maybe you heard it at the ice cream shop yesterday, you know, that would be a sign that this is for you. Isn't she lovely? Stevie Wonder, Isn't She Lovely, coming through right now. And I actually had, so I was scrolling through TikTok earlier today and this other tarot reader came across my page. I had never seen her before, and that was the first thing that came out of her mouth was, isn't she lovely, right? And I actually have a tattoo from that song. It's right here, and it says, I don't know if you guys can see it, it says made from love. And so part of the line is like, isn't she lovely, made from love, da 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 da, right? So like that song is significant to me because I have a tattoo of it, right? So that was how I knew her reading was for me. So just an example to kind of like help you classify things in a certain way. Here we go, Airbnbs. Like maybe you're staying at an Airbnb, maybe you just booked an Airbnb, maybe you run Airbnbs or something like that. Maybe you just read an article about an Airbnb. Uninvited by Mallrat. She is an Australian pop singer. That's one of her songs. I wanted to say Canadian for a second, but like I know very well she's Australian. Her name is Grace. Shout out to Grace. She also went recently through a family loss, so sending out love and my condolences to Grace, aka Mallrat. But yeah, she's a wonderful artist. Check out her music if you haven't already. Here we've got Picture by Sheryl Crow on Kid Rock. So yeah, music already coming through. I saw your picture today. Oh, I put your picture away is what they say. Sat down and cried today. I can't look at you while I'm lying next to her. Ooh. My voice is definitely not on point today, but that's okay, you guys. Endings, Beginnings. That's a movie starring Shailene Woodley. She plays this girl who's like kind of stuck in her life, and she moves in with her sister, and things just, I don't want to say spiral from there. That would be, I guess, be like an accurate description, but it's not like scary. It's not like a scary movie. Ying Yang Twins. If you don't know the Ying Yang Twins, get to know them. They are a hip hop duo from Atlanta. Oh my gosh, they make like some of the best music in the universe. In my opinion. That's just my opinion. Have you guys seen that? What is that from? Is that from Real Housewives? I don't know. Nicole Byer. She is a comedian. She was also on Girl Code and like a lot of other stuff. She was actually just in that movie I saw it yesterday or 2 days ago called Thelma. She played one of the like assisted living home managers or something. Please Don't Leave Me by Pink. That's a song. Da 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 da. We've got here a diamond. That could be the gemstone. It could mean an engagement. Maybe you recently got engaged or witnessed an engagement. We also have Love is Blind season 1. There was a girl named Diamond on there. She was the one who got engaged to Carlton. Speaking of Pride Month, there was like a whole storyline between Diamond and Carlton where he neglected to mention until after they already got engaged that he was bisexual, and it caused a rift between the two of them because she felt like he should have been honest about that from the beginning, and he was like afraid that she would have rejected him, and it was like a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Philadelphia. Philly. Maybe you're from there. Maybe you are visiting there. Maybe you went to school there or something like that. Maybe you have plans to visit there. Grand Crew. Speaking of Nicole Byer, she was on the show, Grand Crew. She played Nikki, I think, was her character's name. She played a real estate agent. But it's like about a group of friends who hang out at a wine bar in LA. Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender. What is the girl's name who voices her? She just came up to my mind. It's like May something. I think. Is it like Mae Whitman? I don't know. Yeah, that is her name. Oh my gosh. I'm like so good. I'm so good. And all right. Who's next? Hand in My Pocket by Alanis Morissette. There's that. Isn't she Canadian? I'm pretty sure she is. There's that Canada connection. I've got one hand in my pocket. The other one is flicking a cigarette. Or you could say throwing a peace sign. That's also what she says. The Climb by Miley Cyrus. It's the climb. That's from the Hannah Montana movie. Matthew McConaughey. He's a little country. He's from Texas. I think he's from Austin, Texas, but he's an actor. You might know him from like Dallas Buyers Club or like Failure to Launch or Magic Mike, or he's been in so many things. Dazed and Confused. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Tea Ceremony. I'm also thinking about that movie. I think like Ghosts of Girlfriends Past. Was he in there? I don't know. Maybe. I don't really remember if I ever saw that movie or not. Tea ceremony is supposed to be like Chinese tea ceremony, but you could just have like a tea ritual that you do where you drink the same type of tea every day, or you like, you know, take time in the morning to drink your tea or whatever. Earrings. You could be like a jewelry designer. You might have a lot of ear piercings. You could just be really into earrings. Maybe you just bought some new earrings yesterday or today, or somebody gifted you some, or you gave somebody some to somebody else. We also have diamond here, so diamond earrings could be a thing. Burn by Usher. I think that you should let it burn. What an iconic song. McDonald's. Maybe you work at McDonald's or you just went to McDonald's. Maybe it wouldn't be like you just passed McDonald's unless it literally just happened. Like, unless it literally just happened within the last 5 minutes, then I don't feel like that counts because they're everywhere. But maybe you just saw an ad for them or something. Baby Girl Lisa. Sorry guys, my camera cut off. If you watch 90 Day Fiancé, you probably know who Baby Girl Lisa is. She was, I think she was married to Usman. I don't know if they made it on actual 90 Day Fiancé, if they were on before the 90 days or whatever. I don't remember which, if they were on the original or the spinoff, but yes, Baby Girl Lisa. Usman is this like Nigerian musician, and he was much younger than she was. So yeah. Anyway, Work From Home by Fifth Harmony. Sorry guys, I don't mean to be laughing. I just like since my camera died, I had to go change the battery, and like for some reason I'm so out of breath right now. It literally does not make sense, but okay. Anyway. Sunflower. Oh, maybe you saw Sunflower, whether in person or, why did I just want to say on the phone? Maybe you saw one like on FaceTime, or maybe you have it as like your background screen on your phone or something, or you saw like a picture of one on Instagram. Maybe sunflowers are your favorite flower or something like that. Sunflower County also coming up. Give Me Something Real by Ashford and Simpson. It's a song. Give me something real that won't fade in the light of day. Earth signs, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. That could be your sun, moon, rising, Venus, possibly even your north node. Also, now that I'm thinking about those lyrics from that song, Give Me Something Real, maybe you had like a one night stand recently and you're either hoping that it could turn into a relationship, or you could be just like in your feelings a little bit, because that lyric, that won't fade in the light of day, makes me think it's like, you know, people getting together in the dark, and then when the morning comes, they're kind of like, are we really doing this or not? You know? Tina Belcher. She is the eldest daughter on Bob's Burgers. Won't fade in the light of day. And then also that song makes me think, Give Me Something Real, makes me think about like seeing somebody's flaws for who they really are and still accepting them. Like just wanting to be loved and accepted definitely is coming through. That reminds me again about Diamond and Carlton from Love is Blind. But yeah, okay. Sookie Stackhouse. She was the main character of True Blood and the Southern Vampire Mystery novels by Charlaine Harris. She's like a telepath and like part fairy and always hanging out with vampires. She's just Sookie. Sookie, Sookie, Sookie. Living in Bontemps, Louisiana, up near Shreveport. Breakfast at Tiffany's. That is a movie starring Audrey Hepburn. When I saw Lisa up here, I wanted to say Lisa Bonet, and I know literally like she has nothing to do with any of the things that we talked about, but I just wanted to say it. So let me go ahead and say that. Breakfast at Tiffany's was also like a novella, I believe, by Truman Capote. The Game. That's a TV show. One of the characters' names is Jason, and I wrote that on here. So somebody named Jason could be relevant to you. And then also The Game, and then it says TV show. That makes me think of like just game shows in general, or like the Game Show Network is coming through as well. Cardi B from the Bronx. Cardi B, musician. So maybe you really like her. Maybe you just recently listened to some of her music or saw something about her. What do we have here? Blackberries. Okay, so those are the fruits. But it also makes me think of the phones, the BlackBerry telephone. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Probably too young. This isn't 18 and over reading, so if you're not 18, go ahead and find something else to do. Sex in the City. See, I told you, 18 and over. If you're not 18 and over, click off. But yeah, Sex in the City, iconic HBO television show starring Sarah Jessica Parker, Kim Cattrall, Kristen Davis, Cynthia Nixon. 93 Till Infinity, Souls of Mischief. That's a song. What does this say? This says Lights by Journey, another song. When the lights go down in the city. Okay, light is coming through again because we had like that won't fade in the light of day, and now we have lights when the lights go down. So maybe you're like, you know, maybe you just turned your lights on or off. That could be like if you just did it, kind of like how I said with McDonald's. It would have had to be done in like the last minute or two. But either way, lights in general, maybe you like are an electrician or you work with lights or something to do with that. I don't know. Romance novel. Why am I wondering if somebody recently read a romance novel with an electrician in it? Would not be surprised. Sesame Chicken. They make romance novels about everything these days. Sesame Chicken. Yum. Maybe you ate some. Maybe that's your favorite dish. Maybe you're planning on ordering some later. Who knows? A Fine Romance by Judith Sills, PhD. That's kind of like a sociological study about courtship from meeting to marriage, and just kind of like the process of how it goes. Girl, Usman, I can't make this shit up. Usman just came out. I was telling y'all about him. Usman, this is baby girl Lisa's ex-husband. So here we go. Some of you guys might be dealing with exes. This also could be something to do with like marriage counseling or something like that. Lemon Breland, Heart of Dixie. She was one of the main characters played by Jamie King on that TV show Heart of Dixie. She's very much like a Southern Belle kind of character. Number 4. So that would be the month of April. You could be born on the 4th. 4 could be your favorite number. You could be seeing 444. We live on 4th Street on the 4th floor, apartment number 4. April would be Aries and Taurus energy. So either of those two could be relevant. We've got Company here by Drake featuring Travis Scott. I need some company. Yeah. I don't know if this is going to be a love reading or not, but there is like some lonely energy kind of coming through. So maybe you identify with that, whether you're in a relationship or not. Because we've got like picture here, company, give me something real, the whole thing about fading in the light of day. Yeah. All about love. Okay, well maybe this is going to be kind of a love-ish reading. And I did say like marriage counseling. So some of you guys, maybe that's your zone of genius. It's like helping people with their relationships. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out when we read the cards in the next part. But All About Love by Bell Hooks, that's another kind of like sociological book. Instead of about like the actual process of like meeting to marriage though, it's about like what love really is. And she gives like a new definition for for what love is. The subtitle of that book is called New Visions. So she's like trying to help people see love in a different way. Monstera, that is a plant. So maybe you have one, maybe you really like those, maybe you saw one recently or something like that. Maybe you worked with one recently, I don't know. Maybe you're like a gardener or horticulturalist. Evermore by Taylor Swift and Bon Iver. That's a song. I feel sometimes like these like identifiers, like they get too long. If you're still here, thank you for sticking with me, and put a little like crystal ball emoji down in the comments so I know. West Africa, this would be Nigeria, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin. I did say earlier Usman is from West Africa. He's from Nigeria. So West Africa coming out strong. Aaron Taylor Johnson, actor. You might know him from like Bullet Train or Kick-Ass. Some of these like that. Angus Long's Imperfect Snogging is one of them. We have here Afternoon by Max Biancon. It's a song. In the afternoon. In the afternoon. Okay. Skywalker, Miguel featuring Travis Scott. So that's our second mention of Travis Scott so far. The initials TS could be relevant because we do have Travis Scott twice. Yeah, we've also got Taylor Swift. So TS, that might be something. What else? We've got here 8701, the album by Usher. So that's our second mention of Usher. That's funny. We got two in a row. I don't really know if that makes sense, but like two things coming out twice in a row. So Usher has come out twice, and then there is, he's right here with Burn. And then there is a song on this album, 8701, called You Don't Have to Call. And there is like a semi-prominent scene in that TV show Grand Crew that uses that song. It's like very funny. So if you have time, go look up You Don't Have to Call Grand Crew and see if you can find that clip. It's cute. Angela Bassett, phenomenal actress, phenomenal woman. Love her. You might know her from like What's Love Got to Do with It, American Horror Story, How Stella Got Her Groove Back, all kinds of stuff. Financial literacy. You could be working on your financial literacy, and if that's the case, I did create an abundance journal. It's going to be linked down below. Go ahead and take a look at that. Here we have Search Party. Search Party, that's a TV show. That girl, Aaliyah Shockett, I don't know if that's how you say her last name or not, but she was on Arrested Development, which I never watched, but Search Party is a show, I believe it's on HBO. I think it started off on TBS, but then HBO maybe like bought it or something. And yeah, it's very good. Each season is kind of like different. It's definitely a roller coaster. So we just got roller coaster here. Maybe you're a fan of roller coasters. Maybe you're like an adrenaline junkie. Maybe you're planning on going to a theme park, or you really like going to theme parks. Patti LaBelle, Boss. Patti LaBelle, she's a singer. Incredible singer. How did I know Maya Angelou was going to come out? I knew she was because I called Angela Bassett a phenomenal woman, and that is one of the names of one of Maya Angelou's poems. So Maya Angelou's coming out real strong. along with that poem she did. Phenomenal woman. But she is an actor and a poet, and just generally a wonderful human being. Kamikaze. So maybe you like to take like those kamikaze shots or whatever, or I don't know. Nick Miller, speaking of kamikaze shots, he's a bartender in that show for the most of the show. New Girl is the show that we're talking about. He's played by Jake Johnson. We've got here equals MC squared. So speaking of tattoos, tattoos could be like significant somehow. I also have that tattooed right there. So I showed you both my wrist tattoos, so you guys might have your own wrist tattoos, or just tattoos in general could be significant somehow. We've got here Barney Stinson. He's one of the main characters on How I Met Your Mother, played by Neil Patrick Harris. This also makes me think of that show, I don't remember what it was called. It was on Netflix, and it was only for like one season or something, but Neil Patrick Harris was playing this gay man living in New York who had just like been dumped by his really long-term boyfriend. It was such a cute show, but they canceled it. It was on Netflix. Uncoupled is what it was called. It was so cute. I wish they hadn't canceled it. I wish it had gone on forever. Forever. Motel. Speaking of Cardi B, we have Cardi B right here. That meme where she's like, forever, might be might be relevant somehow, specifically. Things are getting kind of specific over here. We've got here Wobble by VIC. Wobble baby, wobble baby, wobble baby, wobble. So maybe if you've done the wobble recently, or maybe if that's like your favorite dance floor song, your favorite floor filler. Reconstituted. That's supposed to be like, you know, it makes me think of like space food, how it's like dehydrated and then they add water to it or whatever, and it's reconstituted. So it could be like trying to bring something back to life. Footloose by Kenny Loggins. That is a movie. Well, it's a song, and the song was created for the movie. So we've got two of those. We have The Climb and we have Footloose by Kenny Loggins. Footloose, doot doot, kick off your Sunday shoes, bop bop, ooh wee. I don't really know the lyrics to that song. Satsuma, that's a citrus fruit. I also have known it to be the name of a restaurant in New Orleans. So, edibles. If you know, you know. That also just makes me think, I said restaurant and then edibles came out, so like something being edible. I don't know where I'm going with that. Maybe you're at a restaurant or you're going, ooh, see, the slips are slipping, okay? Self-date. I was like, maybe you're at a restaurant. Like maybe you're eating by yourself at a restaurant. Taking yourself on a date. Maybe you like to do things by yourself. You know, some people have issues with that. Maybe you don't. We have the number 5 here. So 45 or 54. No, I'm thinking about Studio 54. But 5, the month of May, that would be Taurus and Gemini energy. And then you again might be seeing 555. You could live on the 5th floor, 5th apartment, 5th building, something like that. 5 kids in your family maybe, which I actually didn't say that for the number 4, so I guess there could be 4 kids in your family. But We Used to Be Friends by the Dandy Warhols. Now I'm also thinking maybe you have like 5 people in your friend group, or maybe one person dropped and now there's only 4 people in your friend group, or something like that. We Used to Be Friends, that's the theme song for Veronica Mars. I don't really think that counts, like, when I was talking about the movie songs, because, like, Veronica Mars is a TV show, so I feel like that doesn't count. Pirates. Okay, so this automatically makes me think of that episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender, because we have that up here with Katara right here, where they met the pirates, and then they stole the waterbending scroll. But also, it makes me think of like pirating music or movies or something like that. Jessica Alba, Fantastic Four. Jessica Alba, or maybe just somebody named Jessica, which is interesting because it came out right underneath Nick Miller from New Girl, and the main character's name on New Girl is Jessica Day. So she's played by Zooey Deschanel. So the name Jessica in general could just be relevant. So names coming out would be Jessica and Jason, since we had Jason appear with the game. Yeah. Fantastic Four in general, something to do with that could also be relevant. She played Sue Storm. Jessica Alba played Sue Storm on that show, on that movie. Congratulations, Smack and Katie by Reggie and the Full Effect. That is our last identifier. That is a song. You guys might know it from the music video. I feel like they played it a lot on like Fuse or MTV or whatever back in the day, where it was like this jar of peanut butter and this jar of jelly like fell in love, but their parents didn't want them to be together, or at least her parents didn't want them to be together. It was like a whole thing. It was very cute. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up, but it's adorable. Anyway, MC came up twice with Miley Cyrus and E equals MC squared, so those initials MC could be relevant. We also have like the Mick in McConaughey, Matthew McConaughey, so maybe somebody's last name. Oh, also here with McDonald's. So maybe somebody's last name or even first name, I guess, could have the Mick as part of it. Definitely makes me think of like Scottish or Irish ancestry. And also the number 4 came up twice. So we have here just the number 4, but then also Fantastic Four. So yeah, 4 could be significant for 4, 44, 444, those kinds of things. Yeah. Anyway, these are all of our identifiers for this pile 1 reading if you picked the Oasis Illusions Tarot. I'm going to go ahead and write these down in my tarot journal, and I'll see you guys in just a second for the reading. Hey there, pile 1. Welcome to your reading. This is the this is in fact the part with the cards. Why did it almost sound like I was about to say fart? That is so silly. How silly of me. Anyway, I did a pre-pull, not of the tarot, but we have some oracle cards that we're going to use for this reading, so let's go ahead and get those out first, and then we'll get the tarot towards the end. Let's get into it. So where do I want to start from? Let's start from the top. We've got from the Abandoned Oracle, the plant. Interesting. We did get Monstera came through, and it's so funny because this plant does have kind of like a monstrous look. Not that Monsteras do, but I just think that's so funny. The number 23 on here. We've got here voice. Ooh, do we have some voice actors or actresses in the house? This also could just be any profession that has to do with being vocal about something. Being vocal could mean being opinionated about something. It also could just mean that your primary tool or one of your primary tools that you used is your voice. So for example, like a computer programmer probably isn't going to have their voice as their primary tool for work. Their primary tool is going to be their computer and their fingers and their keyboard, right? But a singer or a teacher or a, public speaker of some kind, an actor, a politician, those types of people, their voice is going to be like their primary tool for work. So it says here, get your message heard and get noticed. You have much to share with the world. Consider careers in radio, public relations, or anything in communications. The only thing holding you back is your inability to speak your truth. So this is also about authenticity, which we've touched on a little bit in the identifiers, but yeah, this is about like not being ashamed to be who you are and say what you want, because those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind, okay? Oh wait, yes, that's right. I was like, did I say that quote wrong? We've got here, La Réunion, okay? So this could be about helping people. I did mention like marriage counseling before. When I was in the identifiers, I said that was kind of coming through. This could be like helping people reunite. Some of you guys might be really good mediators or negotiators in some kind of way. In this plant card here, you'll see that there's like a little heart down at the bottom right here, right? And so it's like trying to get things to grow from the heart. And I find it interesting, we have this heart-shaped card here. This is from the Lover's Oracle, and they both have the same coloring. Like they're both like that beige tan kind of color. So interesting that that came up. What does this card say? If you could do anything, what would it be? And you guys, I promise I haven't looked at these. I don't know what any of them say until I look at them. So if you could do anything, what would it be? The answer dwells in your heart, not in your mind. For the heart is the gateway to the soul. I think some of you guys are afraid to like be who you truly are, I don't remember if this came up in the intro or if it came up in the identifiers, but I sang that song like be free to do what you want to do. So you guys are afraid to be who you are and say what you feel. Just like that Dr. Seuss quote that I just mentioned. You're very afraid of it. And I think that it's like there's a Shel Silverstein quote or a poem that's coming to mind right now where it's like these two people who were blue wore masks so that nobody would know that they were blue, but they like walk past each other because they're wearing these masks and they don't know that they share something in common with this other person because they weren't being their true selves because they were wearing this mask, right? So the poem goes, she had blue skin and so did he. He kept it hid and so did she. They searched for blue their whole life through, then passed right by and never knew. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. Yeah, so I don't know if you've ever seen that poem before, but like that's what this is giving. And it's interesting, these people are both wearing blue. So this also could be like, if you were more vocal about the things that you want to do in your life, you might be able to find your tribe or find the people that you want. There might even be, for some of you guys, and I'm going to read a lot of different scenarios. So if you haven't heard something that sticks out to you yet, don't worry. Keep listening. You never know. And if it doesn't resonate with you at all, then there's another pile that you can choose. But some of you guys might be having a hard time admitting that like you want a specific person, like that you want someone. And you might want to like maybe get back together with someone or fix something with someone, and you might be having a hard time admitting that. And it's like, if you would just admit it, then at least you could be on the road towards, having that happen. I keep hearing this weird noise. It's like almost like it's not a cat purring. It could be like one of those like sprinklers outside or something. I don't know what that is. Guys, should I take this in the upright or okay, we're going to take this in the reverse like it was desert here in the reverse. So you guys might be coming out of a dry spell. Okay, and remember this reading is about our zone of genius. So who knows where this is going to take us, but some of you guys could be coming out of a dry spell, and this doesn't have to be a romantic dry spell. It could be a dry spell with your work, or you could just be kind of in a place feeling where like you haven't really been nourished and maybe you're starting to find nourishment. Very interestingly, this is called the Oasis Illusions Tarot. So desert and desert oasis, that's coming through. So an oasis is like a spot in the middle of a desert where there just so happens to be like flora and fauna, possibly water, probably water. And it's like a respite. It's like a stop that you can make to kind of relax and kind of get away from the harshness of the elements. And it might come as a surprise sometimes, something that you wouldn't expect to be there. So for you, I wouldn't be surprised if there was like something kind of unexpected about the things that you want, or about your zone of genius, or the things that you want to say even. The number 8 is coming through, and so is the letter F. We've also got the number 60, and we have another 4. 4 came up twice in our identifiers. So 4 plus 4 equals 8, which we got 8 right here. Is that an 8? Yes, it is. And then now we have 4 down here at the bottom, so that's 4, 4, 4. So definitely really coming through right now. 9:37 on the clock. Mother. Interesting. Are we taking this in the upright? So we are going to take this in the reverse, but I'll read both the attributes to you guys. Light attributes: nurturance, patience, unconditional love, joy in giving birth to life. The shadow attributes are smothering or abandoning children, instilling guilt in children for becoming independent. So some of you guys may have had a kind of like smothery mom or a smothery issue. Some of you guys might be used to nagging people or being nagged. You could also just have this like nagging feeling that whatever path you either were on or are on maybe isn't the most authentic path for you. Okay? I'm also getting a sense right now of possibly like dryness in terms of maybe like breastfeeding, possibly having issues breastfeeding or something like that. Obviously, that's not going to resonate for every person who's watching this, but it's making me think of, there was an episode of Girls. It was like actually the finale of the show at the end of season 6, where one of the characters is a mom. I'll just go ahead and say it. The show has been off for a long time, so if you haven't seen it, feel free to go watch it. But one of the characters, I won't say who it is. One of the characters is a mom, and she is having like a hard time. She has a new baby. She's having a really hard time kind of like adjusting to her new level of responsibility. And she can't get her baby to latch. And like one of her most important things to her, she's a writer, and she really feels like she could be, quote unquote, the voice of my generation, or at least a voice of my generation, right? That's one of the things she says in like the very first episode. So interestingly enough, we also had Endings, Beginnings come out. So it's like thinking about how something starts and thinking about how it ends coming through very strongly as well, since I just mentioned the first and last episode of that show. But yeah, let's see. Your zone of genius. I feel like there's an element of comforting someone here. The way that he has his hand on her shoulder, it's making me feel very much like he's comforting her, and like how he's holding her hand, it makes me feel like he's comforting her. And then of course we have, this mother comforting their child, even though this is in the reverse. I think that you could be really talented at possibly delivering uncomfortable truths to people. That might be where we're going first. Delivering uncomfortable truths to people. Spirit, please help me to divine this message for Pile 1 about their zone of genius. What is Pile 1's zone of genius, Spirit? And I'm getting a message right now about like not fitting in perfectly. So you may feel like you don't fit in somewhere, or things are just like a little out of whack in some way. All right, let's see. What do we have here? Oh, justice in the reverse. It's so funny. Like, I feel, do readers say this all the time? I don't know. I was like, I knew this card was going to come out, because when I said about like delivering uncomfortable truths to people, I was thinking in my head, it would be so funny if the justice card popped out. And now here it is, but it's in reverse. And so this, in the reverse, it's either about saying no. It can also be about lies and deception. It can also be about acknowledging that things are not always fair, and maybe that justice is not always served, and that maybe love isn't always blind. We did get like a Love is Blind reference in our identifiers as well. And definitely is meant to come out, because I have like the whole pile of them next to me right now, and it was the first one that I grabbed without even looking at it. So yeah, we have Diamond from Love is Blind season 1, and I did talk a little bit about her situation that she had with Carlton. If you didn't watch season 1, it's the best one so far. Go watch it. But there was this couple on there named Diamond and Carlton, and they got engaged, and then almost immediately, like within a couple of days of meeting each other in real life, while they were in their little honeymoon stage, I guess they were in Mexico or something, they ended up breaking up because Carlton did not, I wanted to say neglected, which neglect is definitely like mother in the reverse. That's definitely a word that would describe that, right? And I didn't want to use the word neglected, but like I feel like I have to use it now. Carlton neglected to tell Diamond that he was bisexual, and she was upset with him because she felt like he should have told her from the beginning, and that he hid it from her. and she didn't appreciate being deceived in that way. There were a lot of different viewpoints when it came to this scenario, on whether or not Carlton should have disclosed that. And some people thought that Diamond was like being homophobic and stuff like that. I think it was more from the perspective of, you know, we just got engaged and it's supposed to be sight unseen. We're supposed to be able to like love people for who they really are on the inside. And you neglected to tell me a major part of who you are on the inside. And so it feels like you're hiding things from me, right? And that's kind of like the message that I'm getting through this anecdote or this story, is this idea of voice your true self, and delivering uncomfortable truths is going to serve you better in the long run than trying to keep things concealed or to lie. So moving past a space of neglect, moving past a space of dryness, dry ass relationships, not being able to get to the juicy parts because you're not being honest with people, or people around you maybe aren't being honest when you know the truth and you think that it would be best if everybody knew the truth, right? I feel like you have a talent for kind of getting that message across, right? Get your message heard, getting that message across. In the past, you may have had issues with lying. I would not be surprised if that was the case. Some of you guys, and of course, like con men, that those people, they primarily use their voice, right? When they, as their tool for work. Some of you guys might have had like that talent or something like that of, you know, making people believe things that weren't true. And I'm not a con person. I've never been a con person. I don't really know how, like, I'm thinking sitting here like, you know, thinking about this card here, if you could do anything, what would it be? The answer dwells in your heart, not in your mind, for the heart is the gateway to the soul. I can't imagine that living the life of a con person is truly fulfilling. Because even if they do have a certain amount of freedom, you know, as long as they don't get caught and maybe there's a lot of excitement and stuff, it's like, you can't be who you really are. You know, you can't let people get to know you for you. And so I think that there's a certain level of like wanting to put roots down somewhere, wanting to either like maybe be with somebody from your past or have some sort of like genuine connection with someone and not be like trapped out in the desert anymore, you know, in this place where it's like emotionally unfulfilling anymore. So yeah, let's see what else. I want to look on the bottom of the deck. On the bottom of the deck, we have Seven of Swords, which, yes, lies, deception, fantasy, self-sabotage. And I think that, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie Role Models with Paul Rudd and Seann William Scott, but Jane Lynch is in there, and she has this whole line that she keeps repeating, like, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. And I kind of feel like that's your zone, that's your Joan, your zone of genius. I don't know who Joan is, but maybe Joan is somebody. That makes me think of Joan from Girlfriends, played by Tracy Ellis Ross. But maybe that's your zone of genius, is being able to tell when somebody's bullshitting you. That might be it, you know, being able to detect the differences and patterns of people's voices and being able to like see how people react and act, kind of being able to see like how people were nurtured when they grew up and being able to kind of like see past that. I'm getting that song now, You See Right Through Me. I think it's called Right Through Me by Nicki Minaj, is coming through. Yeah. We have here Seven of Coins. This is about patience. This is about planting a seed and waiting for it to grow. You are talented at giving people time to either stumble over their own lies and get tripped up over their own lies, or you're just like very patient in terms of waiting for the truth to come out. You could be one of those people who's like, I'm going to set a lie trap. I'm going to catch you in this lie, and I'm going to wait for you to either dig yourself in a deeper hole or I'm going to have some very kind of like satisfying conclusion where it comes out that you've been lying this whole time and I knew. And you find out that I knew, right? Speaking of Jane Lynch, oh my gosh, that's so funny that she's coming through now. There was a movie called Sleepover with Alexa Vega, and Jane Lynch plays her mom. And Alexa Vega is this girl, she's like in 8th grade, she's about to go to 9th grade, and her best friend is moving away, and they're in like a competition with these other popular girls for like a lunch spot or something, but they have to run this scavenger hunt. And Jane Lynch, the mom, she's like going out for the night with some of her friends, and the bumbling dad, who plays that guy Jeff on Curb Your Enthusiasm, he's like not paying attention at all. He's busy trying to like fix the sink or something, and the girls manage to sneak out and run all over town and do all this stuff. But then the next morning it's revealed that the mom figured out that they had left the house. She knew all along. Not all along, but she knew, right? And so it's like you're good at asking questions to people who they have like no choice but to eventually come clean. Even if they don't come clean right away, eventually they're going to be found out. And you have this level of patience to you that is so admirable is the word that I was going to use. Excuse me. But yeah, not only admirable, but like steadfast as well. The Empress. So yeah, that mother energy is coming through again. So if you are a parent already, or if you're not a parent, you would be a great parent. And I think that you also have this understanding that fair and equitable are not always the same thing. And that sometimes, people need different stuff based on who they are. People need different, maybe like levels of investment based on who they are. What their needs are, right? So I think that you have this understanding of that. You also have a very generous spirit, and you have this sense of being able to balance things, like keep things on a very sharp point, keep things on a very sharp tip, which is very interesting. I'm looking at this center object here, and it kind of like, it makes me think of like a knife, this thing right here, and it's like the tip is like balancing on her finger almost. This is the way that I see it. And it's like you can imagine how that might even possibly like draw blood, right? And despite the fact that there might be some pain or a little bit of pain, it's like doing this for some sort of mission. Whatever the mission is, a bigger cause is more important to you than any sort of pain that's endured in this. So you're definitely like steadfast is definitely a word that I would use to describe you, but even more it's like honorable in a way. But even with that being said, I feel like you could be an excellent liar. You might be really good at lying. This is reminding me of this TV show White Collar. Matt Bomer is in it, and in one of the earlier seasons he has to take a polygraph test, and in order to kind of mess up the results of the polygraph test, he sticks his finger with like a push pin during certain points, because polygraph tests, like, I guess it rates your heart rate, but it also rates your voice in order to tell if you're telling the truth or not. And so he sticks his finger with a pin to like throw off his like anxiety responses, his vocal responses, and things like that, and maybe even his heart rate too, in order to trick the test. And so it's just like, I think that you are probably very clever, and you have a lot of like tips and tricks and things like that that can kind of like help you get out of sticky situations. You definitely are the type of person who knows how to make a way out of no way. You could talk yourself out of probably anything. Parking tickets, speeding tickets, that kind of thing. But yeah, you definitely know how to make a way out of no way, which is really, it's a talent. It's definitely a talent to be treasured. And this mother card being in reverse also makes me think of like single motherhood in some ways as well. Maybe even if you're not a single mother, that's fine, but it's just the idea of like not having all the support that you need or that you could have, and still being able to make it work anyway. And also there's this level of like authority that you have and that you command through your voice as well. Three of Swords. Three of Swords talks about heartbreak. It talks about mental illness as well. It can talk about emotional pain. It can also talk about getting a third point of view. And I feel like you would make a very good counselor, whether that's in a formal setting or not. Just being able to give people a different point of view, possibly even a more experienced point of view. You're probably the type of person who has or is bound to collect a lot of different life experiences. And I think that you can give a lot of guidance. Going back to White Collar, the main character, the one who did the pushpin thing, his name is Neil Caffrey, and he becomes like a consultant for the FBI. So you definitely would be like, and I mentioned earlier, like a good mediator, a good consultant, possibly a good therapist or something like that, somebody who can help bring a third point of view to a scenario. And we even have that here. This is like very similar to the Three of Swords card in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot. It's like a heart with three swords piercing through it, and here we have a heart with three heads growing out of it, right? So some of you guys may be destined to have triplets. That's not all of you, but definitely possible for some of you. But regardless, it's just this idea of being able to speak from the heart and get two other people or two other points of view to like be their most honest representations of themselves, and to also like acknowledge pain or see through the pain of a situation to kind of get to the, I wanted to say the pleasure, but more likely to get to maybe like the reality of it, or just get past the pain for whatever else it is that I guess kind of like really matters. We have the Four of Wands here in reverse. Yeah, this could be about like parties, dates, but it also makes me think about like discord in the home. So yeah, I think one of your zones of genius, one of your major talents is being able to help people figure out like issues that they're having in their relationships, whether that is a romantic relationship or like a familial relationship or something like that. You're able to help people kind of acknowledge their pain points so that they can come back together in a meaningful connection, whether that connection is yours or it's, you know, somebody else's. That is definitely a zone of genius for you, and you can help a lot of people by doing this, helping them to find that level of harmony that they are missing in their lives, whatever disharmony that they may have been having. You could be helping people. Sorry you guys, my video got cut off again, but I am also thinking you guys could be very good at like kind of like a long con, and I'm not advocating for people being grifters here, but just like the way that we have this Justice card reversed next to the Seven of Coins, I feel like you'd be really good at kind of like pulling something off after a long time. And I don't think that it has malicious intentions to it, because we do have this Empress card here in the upright. We also have the Three of Swords here in the upright. I feel like you're helping people to get over past hurts and negativity. Even if it's just like find closure in some kind of way, I feel like you're really good at that. I'm thinking about New Girl and also Parent Trap. There was an episode of New Girl which did come out in our Identifiers with Nick Miller, and also Jessica both came out, but there's an episode of New Girl where Jessica has both of her parents come for Thanksgiving, and she had like pretended that she told them different times, but she really told them the same time, and they're divorced, and she like has tried to parent trap them multiple times to kind of like get them back together. And so she does it with like the best of intentions, you know, wanting her family to be together, but she's doing it in like kind of a deceitful kind of way, right? So I am kind of getting that vibe from you, being able to come up with or concoct schemes. You could be a schemer and a dreamer, let's put it that way. And I definitely think that you have the ability to find what levels people really connect on and to kind of like draw those up and out through conversation to either help people reconnect on those levels or to kind of like find a way to, like I said, get closure or, kind of like cut things off in a healthy way. This Four of Wands being here in the reverse can talk about parties, dates. It can also talk about incomplete things being not quite over yet. I think that you have a talent for recognizing when maybe a relationship isn't quite done. And that might be why we have this reunion card here. You could like look at people or talk to people and kind of realize that whatever the scenario is, these two people aren't quite done with each other yet. And I think that you just have like a sense for that kind of thing. It's almost like a sixth sense for that kind of thing. We've got the Nine of Wands here. Yeah, you're good at getting people to let their guards down. And you're also good at finding a cause to kind of like ride for. You are kind of like, I want to say like the lonely soldier is the words that are coming through here. You may have in the past, for example, let's say like in the past you really believed in like the justice system or something like that. And then something kind of came to light where it's not like it didn't go your way, but a heartbreaking situation happened and it kind of gave you a different perspective on things. And now you still believe in justice, but maybe it's like vigilante justice. That's just a metaphor. I want you to like take this and apply it to your own life, right? So it's like you've just kind of changed how you view and approach certain things when it comes to like your values and what you believe. I think you still ride hard for them, but like you definitely could have issues with authority and other people trying to have authority over you. But you still have all of those like the same kind of ethics or values that you would have had like when you were underneath the authority. So for example, let's say like a soldier goes through basic training and then they get out of the army and they no longer have this like authority over them, but they still, make their bed every morning and do all the things that they did when they were living on base camp. Like they work out the same way or whatever. They just don't do it for quote unquote a master or for authority anymore, but they're doing it rather for themselves. And I think that you have this mentality where it's like you can accomplish anything, you can do anything. And like I think your voice, you could have the gift of gab, your voice could take you very, very far. Do you have it out for yourself first and foremost? I'm going to say yes, but I'm not going to say that that's necessarily a bad thing, because I do see this like nurturing side to you where you do want to bring people together. And I think you're good at getting people to say what's on their heart and also on their mind. I think you're good at building connections with people, both above ground and underground. All right, we're going to get these cards. This might be the last one. We'll see. We have here the Queen of Swords. Interesting. I like that she came out because starting with the Justice card and then ending with the Queen of Swords card, it's like these two paths these two perspectives on honesty. And it's like this path from more dishonesty towards honesty. And I think once you are able to let go of either an authority figure in your life or a need to be an authority. That's my dog, you guys. He came out to say hi in the reading. But either once you like let go of having somebody else be your authority and you become your own authority, that's really when you're able to step into your own power. And the Queen of Swords, like her voice is one of her weapons. The sword, of course, is a weapon too, but her voice is one of her weapons as well. So once you're able to see yourself as your own authority, some of you guys may have like mommy issues. You might need to like cut the cord, so to speak, as far as that goes. But once you're able to do that, mother yourself, nurture yourself, and also use your talent for connection with others and become your own authority, you're going to have this like very impressive and deep level of independence, self-reliance, analysis, and intelligence that you can rely on. You're very intelligent, extremely intelligent, but you also have like a really high level of emotional intelligence as well. Some of y'all may actually also be talented at being able to help people overcome their own mother wounds, being able to overcome unfairness that they had to endure when they were younger. And you could help people learn how to reparent themselves. That's another message that I'm getting here as well. So that could be part of your zone of genius, helping people to become more independent and to see themselves as their own authorities, just like you have come to see yourself as your own authority, to trust that inner voice. You could help people to find their inner voice, to find their authentic voice, because a lot of the time people may have like a voice inside their head that's very critical, and it could actually be like the voice of their mother or their father or an authority figure that they grew up with who criticized them a lot when they were younger. And you could be helping them to kind of like banish that and then reconcile with their own inner voice. And ask this question: if you could do anything, what would it be? The answer dwells in your heart, not in your mind. For the heart is the gateway to the soul. And I think it's so interesting that we keep getting like this swords come up. We don't have any cups, right? And the cups would be of the heart, but we have these swords cards coming in through here, and also the justice card, which are very much like of the mind. So you're helping people to clear their mind so that they can hear their own voice and figure out their own truths, figure out what it is that they believe. Even if, like I said, you have had to use deceptive means to do it in the past. I don't know if you like to do that still to this day, but in that case, like, the ends do not justify the means. I just want to say that that's a message that I'm getting from Spirit. But being able to help people to get their guard down and move beyond that, because it's like it's a horrible thing to be guarded in your own mind and to always have to watch what you say and, you know, never get to say what it is that you want to say. And I think that you help people to find their voice and speak their truths. And maybe that was a scenario that you had to go through as well. And there may have been, you know, certain significant amount of pain there, especially with this Three of Swords here, possibly feeling like you don't belong, or people who feel like they don't belong, whether that's in a community or a relationship. I think what's important here is coming to a place where you really respect your own integrity. And I heard like can't be bribed. It's interesting that we have like mother here, especially in the reverse, because it's like children will try and bribe their moms a lot, and moms will try and bribe their kids a lot in order to like get people to do things, right? And it's like that tactic only works for so long, and at the end of the day it's more detrimental than it is beneficial for both sides, right? So being able to act on things, explain things, and take action, act on things, explain things, see things, and work on things from a place of integrity is so important. And I think it's interesting how like these two women, they have very similar faces and hairdos. You know what I mean? One of them is like more adorned, and the other one, that's this one right here, is more adorned. And the other one here is like a little bit like, she's a little bit more plain in a certain sense, but it's like she's like no bullshit. We talked about that earlier, right? So yeah, you can't bullshit a bullshitter, okay? Integrity is like a big part of this, and it may take you longer to get through that journey or to kind of come through that to other people, but I think that you're able to do it, and that's part of your journey and also your zone of genius. These circles here are making me think of both the sun and the moon. I'm getting moon energy from this card here. Of course, there's like a little moon in the back. And then also on this card, this green crescent is also making me think of the moon as well. So The full moon or the crescent moon could be significant to you guys somehow. And I think it's this idea of not telling the whole truth. And then I'm hearing like, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God, right? Telling the truth or hiding it within a lie. And that also makes me think about art. What is that quote that they have? There's this quote by Pablo Picasso that says, like, art is the lie that enables us to realize the truth. And I kind of feel like that would probably resonate with you, because even if you have to use maybe shielded ways of doing things in order to reveal the truth to people, for sometimes it's worth it. You know how like when detectives will go undercover or you have to like pretend a scenario in order to get somebody, like I said earlier, to like get caught up in their own lie and kind of like end up revealing the truth. In those cases, I think that you can kind of justify the means using the ends, but as long as it's like integrity is woven throughout the entire situation. And I feel like you're really good at that. Like you're really, really good at that. That could definitely be your zone of genius, is finding ways to maintain integrity, keep integrity woven throughout the situation, even if there is some sort of negative, negligent, deceptive kind of issue going on there. And I also feel like you're probably pretty good at being like kind of behind the scenes in scenarios as well too, because I'm getting like voice acting coming through as well. So for some people, like the answer is just voice acting. For some people, the answer is just like being a therapist. But for other people, like I definitely can see how you would take everything that I've said during this reading and apply it to your zone of genius. So yeah, this Justice card being here in the reverse is really grabbing my attention right now. And it's like this idea of balancing the scales by any means necessary is coming through. And you may have like lost belief in a system, like I said before. I was talking about like vigilante justice before. But yeah, I definitely see this idea of like keeping a hold of a higher ideal, because I keep looking at like the top of the scale. I'm not really looking at the rest of the card. I'm looking up here at like the top of the scale. And so it's like, to me, it's like this higher ideal. You're keeping a hold of this higher ideal, and you find ways that you can exercise it and kind of keep that as your guiding light, your North Star, if you will. I think you're also good at leading people, and leadership may not necessarily come naturally to you, but I think that it is something that you have grown into, and people can really appreciate what you have to say. They appreciate your perspective on things, and they find that to be very valuable. All right, yes, that was your zone of genius. Let me know in the comments down below how this resonated with you and how you think it could fit into your life, your love life, your work life, whatever aspect of your life it is that you see this penetrating. And I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to check out my tarot journal and my abundance journal in the links below. Love y'all. Bye. Hey there, Pile 2. Welcome, welcome. If you chose the Pride Tarot, then this is going to be the identifiers portion of your reading. If you're interested in skipping over this and you just want to get straight to the part with the cards, there is another timestamp down below labeled Pile 2 Reading, and that will get you where you want to go. So let's see. Spirit, who are my Pile 2 people? The people who chose Pile 2 for this reading. We're doing What's Your Zone of Genius? So my Pile 2lians, who are you? Let's get some insight into who my Pile 2lians are, my Pile 2 people. I still am not really sure why I call people 2lians. It sounds like a couple of other words. So if that sound means anything to you, then that's how you know maybe that this is your pile, in fact. Anybody else? Anybody else? This is a great time for you to subscribe to the channel, and also to like this video as well. Give it a little thumbs up. It helps other people who may need to find it, who might need to hear this message, it helps it to pop up on their homepage. It suddenly just got like very hot where I am. Like, it's getting hot in here. Nelly style, it's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. That's what he says in that song. If you don't know, now you know. There's like hip hop references that are coming through, so you could be a really big fan of hip hop music, especially like the 90s and 2000s hip hop. All right, let's see, where should we start? So the way that these identifiers work is that at least one of them should be really familiar to you somehow. Could have shown up in your life in the past couple of days, even if it was just in passing, or it would be like significant to you in terms of like, I mentioned music, maybe your favorite song comes out, or maybe that song that comes out has like a really significant tie to an important moment in your life or something like that, right? And I'll say some more stuff as we go along. Water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. So you could be a water sign, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus, possibly even North Node. Maybe you have a water sign stellium as well. I don't always like to include the stelliums, but they are very powerful, so we might as well. The Players Club, that's a movie. It's a very good movie. It's about a college student who does exotic dancing, we'll call it, to get by and to earn some extra money for her tuition. Girlfriends, My Girlfriends. That's a TV show starring Tracy Ellis Ross when she was younger. She's the daughter of Diana Ross. You might know her from Blackish also. Sorry if you guys can hear my dog in the background. He is itching right now, I guess. Don't worry, he took his flea medication. Vietnam, maybe you're from there, maybe you are visiting there, maybe you have plans to visit there, you just got back there, maybe your family's from there, maybe you just have significant ties to Vietnam. Also, like, the Vietnam War is coming up. Amber, so this could be somebody's name. It could also be like a color amber. There's also a song called Amber by a band named 311. And then also there are a lot of Ambers on that TV show called Love is Blind. There was Amber in season 1. There was an Amber, I want to say, in like season 4. There were 2 Ambers in season 6. But specifically season 1 is coming through. Portions for Foxes by Rilo Kiley. That's a song. There's blood in my mouth because I've been biting my tongue all week. You keep on talking trash, but you never say anything. Talking leads to touching, and touching leads to sex. And then there is no mystery left. Yeah, okay. I'm bad news. Baby, I'm bad news. Bad news, bad news, bad news. Yeah, I want to keep singing that song. So if you don't know it, go listen to it or go look up the lyrics because there could be a message in there for you. Mia Thermopolis, she is the main character of The Princess Diaries, the books, and the movie. In the movie, she's played by Anne Hathaway. Let's see, $20. Maybe you have $20 in your pocket right now. Maybe you just gave away $20 or you just got $20. Maybe something you bought just cost $20. Something like that. Also, there's an MIA song called $20. Caribbean Queen, No More Love on the Run by Billy Ocean. Caribbean Queen, now we're sharing the same dream, and our hearts will beat as one. No more love on the run. That song also reminds me of Modern Family. They have an episode where it's like featured pretty heavily. Yeah. That was the first time I ever heard that song was on Modern Family. And then I heard it like a lot afterwards for some random reason, which is how it ended up in the Whip Bowl. We have the number 8 here. That could be the month of August, which is Leo and Virgo energy. You could be seeing 888, 88, 88, 88. You could live on the 8th floor. You could be born on the 8th. 8 could be your favorite number. You could be one of 8 kids. You could have 8 kids. You could live on like 8th Street, apartment number 8. Anything like that, where 8 is like significant to you. Yeah, whether you're like watching this in August, or maybe your birthday's in August, or something like that, your anniversary possibly, especially with Helena coming up here, because I'm pretty sure that there's a wedding in that music video. Helena by My Chemical Romance, that's a song. Long ago. Juicy, Doja Cat featuring Tyga, another song. I keep it juicy, juicy. I eat that lunch. So maybe you have a big butt. Again, 90s hip hop is coming through because I was just about to be like, I like big butts and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny. When your girl walks in with the itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung. Yeah, we want to keep going. Nobody's Supposed to Be Here by Deborah Cox. A little R&B action. How did you get here? Bear Claw. Nobody's supposed to be here. I've tried this love thing for the last time. Okay. I keep like cutting these songs off early and I just don't want to. I want to keep singing them, but like for the sake of time, I do it. And I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not, Spirit, but I just, whatever. We're moving on. If you don't like the singing, you can just fast forward 10 seconds. Double tap on the screen on the right-hand side. There's solutions for everybody all around. So Bear Claw, that could be the pastry, or it could be the character that Josh Gad played on New Girl. He had like a big crush on Jess, who was played by Zooey Deschanel. Alrighty, let's see. Dupe. That could be a makeup dupe or a trickster. It could be like a product dupe of any kind, I guess. Dupe is short for like duplicate. But trickster, it also could mean like to prank somebody or to trick them. So trickster energy is coming through as well. Energy by Drake. I got enemies, got a lot of enemies, got a lot of people trying to drain me of my energy. Trying to take away from a nigga. All right, let's see. The Incredibles Pixar movie, Disney Pixar movie about a superhero family. Okay then. I was gonna pick that one up, but it flew out of my hand, which means it's not time yet. Flight 99 by Taku, Matt McWaters, and Masego. That's a song. Terminal. So some of you guys might be like going on a flight. You might be at the airport right now. I also did hear terminal in terms of like sickness or illness. So hopefully that's not the case, but I did hear that. Big Rich Town by 50 Cent featuring Joe. That's the theme song for the TV show Power. They said, this is a big rich town. I just come from the poorest part. Bright lights, city lights, I gotta make it. That's where it goes down. Power was such a great TV show. If you haven't seen it, it's so good. Countess Luann de Lesseps. She was on Real Housewives of New York. I don't know that she still is or not, but New York City is coming through because that's the big rich town that they were talking about. So yeah, New York is coming through for sure. And LA as well, because Girlfriends and New Girl were both LA. So somebody might be bi-coastal. Another New York TV movie, Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. They like do basically almost like a scavenger hunt around New York. It's not truly a scavenger hunt, but it has scavenger hunt kind of qualities in the movie. But yeah, it's around New York City. Ted Mosby. Oh, New York is so strong here. So I don't know what the deal is. Ted Mosby, he is the main character of How I Met Your Mother, a TV show that's based in New York. And New York plays like a really big character in it. He is an architect and he's always talking about like the buildings in New York. So yeah, New York is coming through super strong here. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. That's a book. It's also a movie. It's the second one in the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling, who I don't usually say by name, but for some reason I felt like I wanted to or needed to today. Cheerleader by Omi, the Felix Jane radio edit. You know what's so funny? They didn't have cheerleaders for the Quidditch games in Harry Potter. I wonder why. Maybe because it's like, is that an American thing? Do they not have cheerleaders in other countries? I don't really know. That's a great question. Black Truck by Mariba. I don't know how to say that girl's name, but it's a good one. Stay sick because I follow my gut. I'ma push me, I'm at all Black Truck. So yeah, I mentioned earlier, like terminal illness. Somebody might have like a chronic illness, like a gut illness, gut bowel issues. Hopefully not terminal. Hopefully not. I'm praying for you if that is the case. But yeah, stay sick because I follow my gut is coming through. And that's supposed to be like a double entendre kind of situation. But I don't know. And it is, but it's also coming through kind of literally. I contain multitudes. So maybe you've said that recently, or somebody said that to you, or you read it somewhere. Maybe you read it on Reddit. Ha ha ha, I'm so funny. There's Charming Man by Stars. That is a cover of a song by the Smiths. I first heard it in a Barnes & Noble, and I say that almost every single time, so Barnes & Noble needs its own little slip because it wants to come through. So maybe you like to hang out at Barnes & Noble and read comic books like Doctor Strange and Marvel. We have Doctor Strange and Marvel here, so maybe those things are important to you, or they came up in your life recently, like I said before. Who knows? What do we have here? Casino by Houndmouth. Dealers in the boot life got me hooked on freebasing. I can't trust no man of mine, so I look into another dimension, and yeah, they got me doing bad things. I've got my friends inside my pocket, got my gin tucked in my purse. I keep my heart locked in gold so I don't ever get hurt. And I gamble till the lights of the casino are gone. Okay. Yeah, that was one where you could have fast forwarded if you wanted to. Summertime in Paris by Jaden and Willow. Funnily enough, as I'm filming this, this is a timeless reading, but I'm filming this in July 2024, where the Summertime Olympics are happening in Paris right now as we speak. So that could be relevant to you. Maybe you're watching them, or maybe you are an Olympic competitor. Who knows? We do have a lot of greatness on this channel, so I wouldn't be surprised if we had some Olympic athletes in our midst. If you are, tell me in the comments. JK, but you can really if you want to. 38 could be significant, so could like 3820 or 2038, any of those numbers. But 3 is the month of March. That is Pisces and Aries seasons. You could live on the 3rd floor, the 3rd building, 3rd street, or avenue. You could be one of 3 kids. You could have 3 kids. You could be seeing 333, 33, 33, 33, anything like that. Bantu knots. You could have those in your hair. Maybe you recently took some down. Maybe you have like a doll with Bantu knots or something. Maybe your child has a doll with Bantu knots. Maybe you're thinking about putting them in. Kimberly from 90 Day Fiance. I don't know why I said 90 like that, but 90 Day Fiance. She is like a military veteran from San Diego who was on before the 90 days. She's also on Pillow Talk with this guy named Usman. Well, she's on Pillow Talk with her son, but she was on the show because she was in a relationship with this guy named Usman, also known as Soja Boy, from Nigeria. Famous last words. So maybe like somebody has a catchphrase, or maybe you said famous last words, or somebody said that to you. Maybe you're thinking about somebody's last words to you, or something like that. Privacy. I wanted to say privacy. So like a little bit of like an accent is coming through right now, because when I said 90, privacy. So you could be working on increasing your privacy measures. Like maybe you're getting a camera, or you're getting a security system, or you're changing your passwords. Maybe there was like a privacy breach recently where some of your information was leaked or something like that as well. Unfortunately, those happen way too often. Carnival. So that could be like an actual fair, like a state fair, county fair. It also could be like a carnival cruise. It could be carnival time, like Mardi Gras, or like carnival in the Caribbean, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's what it's giving right now. Let's see. Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy by Big and Rich. We love a little country moment. I was about to sing, and then all of the words literally just magically left my head. So you're welcome. For those of you who are not into the singing, you're welcome. Save a horse, ride a cowboy. What? Save a horse, ride a cowboy. Everybody says. Those are like the only words that came back. Chateau Marmont in Hollywood. So that is a hotel and a bar. I heard Drake really likes to go there. I don't know if that's the truth. I don't know if anybody cares. And then also, it reminds me of this other song called Chateau by Angus and Julia Stone, where they mention the Chateau Marmont. We can go to the Chateau Marmont and dance in the hotel room. I don't mind if you want to go anywhere, I'll take you there. Ladybug. Maybe you've seen a ladybug, maybe you love ladybugs, they're like your favorite insect, and you have like ladybug decor or ladybug inspiration all over the place. Maybe a ladybug landed on you the other day, or you saw like a whole colony of them. Who knows? School of Rock, that would be so cool if you saw like a colony of ladybugs. I'm sure somebody sees those. Are there ladybug farms? I don't know. School of Rock. That is a movie. It's also a musical. The movie stars Jack Black, Miranda Cosgrove, and some other people. That movie's so good. I love it. The Battle of the Bands. So maybe some of you guys are in a Battle of the Bands. Oh, School of Rock is also like a franchise of music academies. So like maybe you're taking lessons, like guitar lessons or something at School of Rock. Heart of Dixie, that's a TV show starring Rachel Bilson, Jamie King, and some other people. It's very cute. I love it. It's based in Alabama. It's about a New York City doctor. Again, New York, a New York City doctor who moves to Alabama to take over a family practice. Bon Iver, AUATC, that stands for Ate Up All Their Cake. So maybe some of you guys are actually eating cake right now. Maybe you know that song. Maybe that song is significant to you somehow. It also makes me think of Let Them Eat Cake, Marie Antoinette, and we talked about Paris earlier too, so that's coming through. Mariah Carey, Hey Lamely. That's what she calls her fans, the Lamely. And I call you guys by Tarot family, so we're kind of the same. Yes, also my name, I say that whenever people get my name wrong, I tell them it rhymes with Mariah. So me and Mariah, we're like this. Anyway, Return of the Mac, Mark Morrison. There's that 90s vibe coming back again. And Mariah was also very 90s. She has like stood the test of time, but she came out in the 90s. So we got like 90s music, hip hop and R&B coming through. Hip hop more so than R&B, but R&B still. Ooh, that was fun. R&B still, like be still. Interesting. You never know who the messages are for. One time I said something about like turning off the light and like, or maybe, no, it was me because I was listening back. It was like as I was editing the video. And when I said turn off the light, I actually like, right before I said turn off the light, I got up to turn off the light. And as I was turning off the light in real life, I heard myself say turn off the light in the video. So like, so you never know how synchronicities will line up. So that's why I don't edit out any of like, I was about to be like the stupid stuff that I say. I won't say stupid stuff, the extraneous extra stuff that I say, because you really never know. Like this is the identifiers portion. You never know what's going to click with people. Anyway, maybe that word click just clicked with somebody as they were clicking something. You never know. Addis Ababa, that's the capital of Ethiopia. So maybe your family's Ethiopian, or maybe you're from Ethiopia, maybe you're visiting there, or you just got back from there. You might just even really like Ethiopian food. Maybe you went to a restaurant with like Addis Ababa in the name or something. Young Dolph, R.I.P., we love you. Love him, miss him. Memphis rapper who was sadly murdered while he was like going to get donuts or cookies or something. It was really sad. A few years ago. Cheers, Drink to That by Rihanna. Yeah. So yeah, I'm With You by Avril Lavigne also comes through because she samples, or that song is sampled in Cheers, Drink to That. Annoying, just like some of you guys might find my singing annoying. Maybe somebody called you annoying. Maybe you feel annoying, or you've just been really easily annoyed lately. That could be one of those options. What is it? Let's see. American Horror Story Season 1 Murder House. If you've seen AHS, Season 1 is like, in my opinion, is one of the best seasons. I actually haven't watched the latest couple of seasons, but I was very caught up before, like up to like Season 10. And I really like Season 1. That's my favorite one. Connie Britton is in there. Tessa Farmiga, or Thaisa, I don't know how to say her name. Swing Swing by the All American Rejects. That's a song. Swing, swing, swing from the tangles of my heart is crushed by a former love. Can you help me find a way to carry on again? Wish cast it to the sky, I'm moving on. Alright, sweet beginnings to arise, she knows I was wrong. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I really want to keep singing it, but I'm going to stop. Signs by Snoop Dogg, Justin Timberlake, and Charlie Wilson. That's another song. I'm not sure on what I see, just saying to fuck with me. 'Cause you're telling me this is a sign. Looking in my eyes like no other guys. And you're telling me this is a sign. Drew Barrymore by SZA. I don't feel like saying that one, strangely enough. Go look up the lyrics if you want. Is it warm enough for you outside, baby? We have the number 6 here, so 368. Very close to being Little John, but we're not there. Little John and the East Side Boys, but no. 368 or 836, 386, 683, 638. Did I say that one already? Any of those numbers, but 6 is the month of June. That's Gemini and Cancer energies. Again, 6th floor, 6 kids, 6th Avenue, 6th Street, 66, 666, 66, 66. Any of those things, any of those types of things could be relevant to you. My dog just came in my lap. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see him like sniffing around. He was sniffing on the table. Throat chakra. I had a feeling this one was going to come out because I was like having issues, and also me not knowing how long to sing is also like a throat chakra thing. Some of you guys might be worried about sounding annoying when you speak or sing or just express yourselves. I just want to say it's always okay to express yourself, whether you're doing it privately, like in a journal, or with other people. Don't be afraid to say what you want to say. Say what you need to say, John Mayer. Say what you need to say, Bob Marley. Prolific Jamaican musician, Bob Marley. Legendary. Also his album Exodus coming through right now. Half and Half, that's a TV show about 2 sisters who live in San Francisco. It's very cute. One of them, Rachel True, she plays one of the sisters. She actually like has a tarot deck that she came out with. We're not using it today, but it's really good. It's called the True Heart Tarot. Houston, also since New York is here so prominently, Houston, that is how you say the name of that street in New York. If you know, you know. We've got air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So we just mentioned Gemini season with the 6 that came out, but this could be Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Yes, maybe also North Node or Stellium. But the Stellium exists in one sign, right? Like, so it would be having like 3 planets in Gemini or something like that. 3 planets in Libra. Susan Sontag, photographer and writer. Really Rosie, more New York energy. That is a play for children. It's like a musical for children. I'm really Rosie, and I'm Rosie real. You better believe me. I'm a great big deal. One of the other songs coming through from that play is called A for Alligator, or A is for Alligators, or something like that. Dancing all around. Also chicken noodles, chicken soup with rice. In the summer, baby, it's so nice. While slipping on the sliding ice. To sip hot chicken soup with rice. Sip it once, sip it twice. Sipping chicken soup with rice. I don't know why they say summer. Maybe they said winter. I don't really know. Anyway, Build-A-Bear. That's like a store in the mall where people go to make stuffed animals. You don't have to be a child, but it is mostly for children. But you don't have to be. Seth Rogen, actor, pot maker, ceramicist, I don't know. Bluebird. This could be actual bluebirds, or it could be a poem or a song. So the poem is by Charles Bukowski, the song is by Miranda Lambert. And the song was inspired by the poem. How cute. What do we have here? We have Avenged Sevenfold. That's a band. I don't really know any of their music, but I still felt called to like put them in the bowl for some reason, so they're here. If you're here and you're a fan, hey. Leave me some info about the band. I don't really know anything about them. Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill. If you went to the club and you didn't hear that song, did you really go to the club? That's the question. Hold up, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished? Okay. The Joker by Steve Miller Band. I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. So yeah, Seth Rogen, he is like very famous for liking to smoke weed, kind of like how Snoop Dogg is famous for that. And he also, like some of the things that he makes with his ceramics are like weed paraphernalia. We'll put it that way. So yeah, we might have some people who are into that kind of thing. I do not, what's the word that I want to say? I'm not encouraging anybody to do that. I'm just speaking facts on the things that I know. Boys in the Hood. That's a movie directed by John Singleton. Morris Chestnut is in there, so is Ice Cube. Is Ice Cube in there? No, I'm thinking of Friday. Piano. Maybe you play the piano. Maybe you went to a place called Pianos, or like that had a piano in it, or like a piano bar. It could even just be somebody's house with a piano in it. Clumsy by Fergie. Clumsy 'cause I'm falling in love. So in love with you. I don't know why I just went really low for that, but whatever. And also London Bridge by Fergie is coming through right now. How come every time you come around my London Bridge, wanna go down like London? I wanna go down like London. Angus, the word Angus is coming because I said earlier Angus and Julia Stone for Chateau, that song. But Angus Thongs and Full Frontal Snogging is here. So Angus could be somebody's name. It also could be like Angus Beef. But Angus Thongs and Full Frontal Snogging, that is a book from Louise Richardson. It's like the Georgia Nicholson series. They did turn it into a movie, Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging. So, yeah. Aaron Taylor Johnson is in there. Fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Okay, we got like all the signs coming through. Alright, so sorry guys, my camera got cut off. Fire signs, that could be Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, or even a stellium. We have here... Oh, I also wanted to say that in Dreams and Nightmares, Meek Mill mentions Mariah. So the name Mariah is coming through. That also, I think it's a reference to Mariah Carey, but I'm not a positive, 1000% sure. Maybe Mariah the Scientist. Peanut butter and jelly. Maybe you are eating one right now. Maybe that's like your favorite snack, favorite food. It does make me think of that song, like, it's peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time. No, where yet, where yet, where yet, where yet. Now there you go, there you go, there you go, there you go. Peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat. Sufjan Stevens, musician. That song Chicago is coming through right now. He also has like a Christmas album that I just recently found out about. Slow Burn, Casey Musgraves. It's a song. For some reason, I'm also thinking about this other song, Better Than Ezra, A Lifetime. I don't know why that came up, but Sewing Kit. Maybe you're learning how to sew. Maybe you know how to sew. Maybe you recently had to use your sewing kit for something. Let me go ahead and put that right there. We've got just a few more, you guys. Not too many more. Viva La Vida, Coldplay. That's an album. I love that album. In my opinion, it's a no skips album. But yes, or it could be the song Viva La Vida as well. The number 23, so that references like Michael Jordan. It references What's My Age Again by Blink-182. There's also a song called 23 by Miley Cyrus. And then also that makes me think of J's On My Feet. So like Jordan's, the shoes could be relevant. Maybe you're wearing them. Maybe that's your favorite shoe style. Justin Timberlake. Recently going through a little DUI scandal. He said Teen Girl Squad. That was like a thing from Homestar Runner. It was like a little internet cartoon. It's very silly. We have here 12/12. So maybe you're seeing that time on the clock. Also, it could be December 12th. Might have some relevance to you. We have here, there's only like 3 or 4 more after this one. The Departed, that's a movie starring Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Jack Nicholson. and Vera Farmiga. So Tessa Farmiga is in American Horror Story. She's in a lot of them, but she's in season 1. And then her older sister or her aunt, I don't think it's her mom, Vera Farmiga, is in The Departed. The London. I told you guys London Bridge was coming through. London Bridge. And then also Angus Slongs and Full Frontal Snogging is like set in the UK. I don't know if it's in specifically like part of London, but London town coming through a little bit. Monaco. Speaking of like London, you know how they have the royal family. Now I'm thinking of Princess Grace of Monaco, but just Monaco, Monte Carlo, all of that coming through as well. What is here? What is this one? This is our second to last one. Taking its sweet time getting unfolded. Honey by Kuka, the Medicine Remix. That's a song. There's a silence that goes between us, and I know it's because of me. Kendrick Sampson. He is an actor. You might know him from Insecure or maybe The Vampire Diaries. He's also an activist. And I believe he's also a Pisces. Speaking of water sign energy. Rihanna's a Pisces too. I don't know if anybody else on here is a Pisces, but yeah, anyway. Some other things worth mentioning are that the initials MM, they came up quite a few times. We had Meek Mill a couple of times. We also had Matt McWaters with that song Flight 99. And then we also had Mark Morrison with Return of the Mac. So MM, those initials. Also, that makes me think of course, Eminem's. And then also the rapper Eminem. So any of those things. The words big and rich came up twice with Big Rich Town by 50 Cent. That is the theme song for Power. And then we also had Save a Horse Ride a Cowboy by Big and Rich. So some of you guys might be destined to be big and rich if you're not already. Speaking of, we had that $100 bill and it was actually right above casino. I didn't notice that before. So some of you guys might have like won $100 at the casino, spent $100 at the casino, maybe even up to like 100,000. Ooh, big and rich, right? We don't want to discount that energy. The initials DC came out right next to each other, actually. Juicy by Doja Cat, and then also Nobody's Supposed to Be Here by Deborah Cox. Those came out right next to each other. So DC, those could be initials, or it could be like Washington, DC. Could have relevance to you. Also, Justin Timberlake came out twice, and I just noticed that. We have him over here with Signs by Snoop Dogg, Justin Timberlake, and Charlie Wilson, and then also just like by himself right here, Justin Timberlake. I forgot to mention when I read Heart of Dixie that RB is also in the corner of that, so that makes me think of Arby's. It does stand for Rachel Bilson, who I mentioned already, but RB, yeah, that makes me think of Arby's. We've got the meats. That's what they say. I don't think I've ever eaten at Arby's. If I did, it was like maybe one time, a very, very long time ago, like when I was like a child. Let me know what you think about Arby's. I don't know anything about them. I don't really eat fast food anymore, so yeah. Kendrick Sampson in Insecure, his character is from Houston. His character's name is Nathan, and he is from Houston, and they're like literally right next to each other over here. So I think that that's probably relevant, even though Insecure is in the bowl. It didn't come out, but still. I don't know if Kendrick Sampson himself is from Houston or not. I know that he does have like Southern roots. He talks a lot about New Orleans, but I don't know if he himself is actually from Houston. I guess we could look it up. If you know, put it in the comments. Also, I got the urge to say Really Rosie, that children's play or children's musical. Carole King and Maurice Sendak both contributed to that. So felt the need to say those names. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and write down all of these in my tarot journal. If you are interested in securing your own tarot journal, the link is down below in the description box. Go ahead and check that out. It's a really good tool for just like writing down your insights, whether you read for yourself or you like to watch tarot videos online. So yeah, okay, let me go write these down and we'll get into the reading in just a second. Hey there, Pile 2. Welcome, welcome. If you are here for your reading, this is in fact the part with the cards. So let's go ahead and get into it. I did pre-pull some oracle cards for us, so we're going to go ahead get into those first. Let's see, we'll put this off to the side for now. I am not going to lie to you guys, it's probably been at least a week, maybe even almost 2 weeks. I've been working on some other projects. I've been really like working on my TikTok channel. in like my YouTube shorts and stuff like that. So it's been at least a week since I filmed pile 1. I do not remember what pile 1 was even about or how, like, the order that I did this. So guides, angels, benevolent ancestors, higher self, please help guide me to read these cards in the best way for pile 2. Thank you. Appreciated. All right, we got the team with us. This card just fell out, so I'm going to go ahead and take that as a, ooh, fire. I said I'm going to take that as a sign. Yes. I always light a candle before I start my readings. I'll go ahead and show it to you guys. I always light a candle just to like say thank you to my guides, angels, benevolent ancestors, my higher self. And when I just like did that little prayer just now, I could feel them like, yes, we're here with you. And so the fire, this is another confirmation that they're here with me. You guys may have like a very spiritual side to you. You may also like really find comfort in either heated spaces or like candles or fire itself. Not necessarily like, we're not talking like pyromania. Okay, we're not talking about that. Some of you guys might have a little bit of pyromania. That is obviously not for everybody, and stay safe, don't play with fire, okay? But this is definitely a very passionate pile. We also did get fire signs came out in our identifiers. I don't know if I can find those because we had so many of them. But if you didn't watch the identifiers, then just know they did come out. Is this it right here? No, that's air signs. Did all of the signs come out during our identifiers? I definitely have air, water, whatever. We're moving on. We'll move on from that. If I find the fire signs, then I'll bring them out later. All right, here they are. See, you never give up. You guys, I think, are probably the type of people who have a lot of passion, and if you give up on something, I think it is very rare that you do, but especially if it's something that you care about, I think that you're not likely to give up on it, okay? So yes, that is like the energy that I'm getting here. Some of you guys might also really enjoy camping or being outdoors or like survival type of activities as well. We're talking about your zone of genius, so some of you guys might have like survival skills that like you could survive in a zombie apocalypse, or you know, being dropped in the forest from like, maybe some of you guys were like in the army or something, and you know how sometimes they'll like put you out on a mission where you have to, you know, be in the forest by yourself with only a few tools or no tools or something like that, you know what I mean? I talked to somebody who was in the military, and I asked them if they had to do that, and they're like, yeah, we got to do that like every 2 years or every 6 months or something, some interval of time. I was like, that's crazy. That's so crazy. But you know, it is what it is. I'm like, I can't do those things. I probably should learn though. Given just the way that the world is going, I probably should learn some survival skills. You guys, I think, just would be very useful in an outdoor situation. Even if you don't have the survival skills yet, I think that you would pick up on them very quickly, or you might like to actually like watch videos about them or something, even if you don't actually practice it yourself. I feel like you have the survival instinct at the very least, we'll say that. Yeah, you just have like this tendency, like you want to keep going. You want to keep going, no matter what it is, you want to keep going. You just don't give up easily. This reminds me, I was watching this movie with my mom, probably like sometime in the last 6 months. It was, I don't remember what it was called. It was a Spanish movie, and it was about this woman and her family. She was pregnant, and her husband was trying to like get them out of the country because the government had broken down, and there were like all these like rebellion groups and stuff. And so they were trying to get out of the country, and they were being smuggled from Spain to like Ireland or Scotland or something. And he found these smugglers who would take them in the backs of these trucks. So they go to like the drop point or the pickup point, and then the two of them get separated and put into different trucks. And his truck is apprehended by like the military or by the police or whatever. Hers isn't, and it gets put on this boat to take it to Scotland. And remember, she's pregnant. But, it turns out actually hers also is. I forgot. And I don't know the name of this movie, you guys, I'm sorry. Hers is actually discovered by the military people, but she's able to hide she finds a hiding place so she doesn't get schmurdered, right? Everybody else does, and she doesn't. And so they like, take all the people out of the truck, and she's still in her hiding spot. And so the truck does go on this boat, but then the barge that she's on gets like tipped over. And so she's in this floating container, like out in the middle of the sea for like a really long time. And she's heavily pregnant. She has her baby, and she has to figure out like, how are me and this baby going to survive? Because like there's only so many materials in here that I can use. So she like does all this stuff and like rigs up a fishing wire. And I know the story's getting long, you guys, but bear with me. She does all of these things, and then like eventually she and her baby make it to, like, she like makes a raft for them, and they get found by like these fisher people, and the fisher people bring her to Scotland, and so she and her baby make it there. She barely survives. Like the baby, she made like a really great floating device for the baby, but she barely survives. She like nearly drowns. And during this whole movie, I'm talking to my mom about, I was like, I don't know if I could survive this, honestly. Like I probably would have just given up. This woman, she's like really out here doing everything that she can to try and survive when the situation is so dire. You can't see land for miles. You don't know if anybody's ever going to be able to find you. Your phone's not working. You have like 3 days left worth of food. You don't have any clean water, all this stuff. And I was just like, how does she have the willpower to survive this? And my mom was like, you'd be surprised, like what you can muster up in an extreme situation. And I was just like, I don't know. This is like when people say like in the zombie apocalypse, like when the zombie apocalypse comes, just, let me go, right? Kill me first, right? I don't want to say those words because I don't know if I'm allowed to say them on YouTube, but you are not that type of person. You would survive. You are a fighter. Let me put it that way. You are a fighter. You have that fire within you. You would be that type of person who could figure out how to make a way out of no way. You're going to survive the zombie apocalypse or being stuck, trapped at that container, in that shipping container at sea, okay? You are going to figure it out. And I love that about you. You may have had, especially like choosing the Pride Tarot here, you may have had kind of like a tough life already where, maybe you didn't have a lot of support growing up, or you didn't have a lot of resources around you, and you kind of just had to figure out how to make it work. Designers Make It Work is coming through. Project One Runway, Tim Gunn. So yeah, you're the type of person who's going to make it work. And honestly, like the sense of pride that I have in you, I don't know you, but you're part of my collective, so I'm just proud of you. I'm proud of our collective in general, but I'm specifically very proud of you. And this is telling me that you are also very proud of yourself. Of course, we all have our ups and downs. We all have our moments when maybe we're not so proud of ourselves and things that we're doing, but like I think that in general, you have skills that will and could and would make you proud to wield them. So let me go ahead and put it that way. Oh, I love this energy. You're make it happeners. I don't know what the word is for that. Also, some of you guys might be like firefighters or first responders of some kind or something like that. Yeah, so let's see. That's so interesting that this card, it's crazy how much you can get from one card. You know what I mean? Some of you guys might have beards. No matter what your gender is. Some of you guys might have some chin whiskers. Okay. Yeah, let's go. Let's keep reading. The Mad Woman. Interesting. Okay. Number 18 is here. I think that you have like some crazy ideas. What is that? Like, it's almost like Pinky and the Brain, where it's like, this idea is crazy, but it just might work. Or like Phineas and Ferb. Whereas like they're always off on some crazy adventure, doing crazy things. Other people might not understand you. And I did mention earlier, you might be in a place where you're kind of isolated or alone, or you don't have a lot of resources. That can also resort or talk to, I guess resort might be the right word, to your mental health as well. It could be like, despite any mental health challenges that you have, you keep going, right? When other people might have and have given up, you've decided to keep going, No matter if what other people think about you, also kind of like, no matter what you think about yourself, I think that you have this almost like crazy confidence. And I don't like to use the word crazy, but it did come through. And I think that you have just like this level of, you know, you also may have a bit of a one-track mind when it comes to certain things as well. But you are just going to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And I think that you also, with the number 18 here, that's the age, at least in the United States, when people are considered adults. I think that you recognize that you're always learning. My little candle's like popping right now. That to me means that I'm on the right track. You're always learning, but you also like really cherish or relish or recognize what it means to be an adult. And for that, that could talk about responsibility and like coming into your own as a responsible person, despite any challenges that you may have, mental health challenges or otherwise, physical challenges. Some of you guys might be disabled in some kind of way. You see that she has like the curvature of the spine here as well. So some of you guys might be disabled in some kind of way. Despite anything and everything that it's like any odds that are against you, you are pushing through. You still have found a passion for life and you plan to live on, to move on, to keep on going, keep on trucking, I heard, okay? So yeah, the Mad Woman, there's just this, there's a very resilient energy to her, but there's also this energy of course, being misunderstood, but like I'm looking at her eyes right now, she actually seems very happy to me. She seems very happy to me. I didn't get that a second ago, but I'm getting it now. So even if you are kind of in your own little world, I think you're happy being there, you know? Yeah. You might really enjoy wearing all black or wearing dark colors or something like that. That goes along with like the camouflage or the survivalist. You might be into wearing camo or just like things that allow you to kind of blend in with like your surroundings or with the night. Some of you guys might be women or men of the night, if you know what I mean. That's what they used to call SWs back in the day, spicy accountants back in the day. And I think that that goes again with like, you know, doing what you have to do to survive, doing what you have to do to thrive, using the tools that you have at your disposal in order to make a way. You know what I mean? So there are lots of different kinds of like professions that you have here, but I think your zone of genius specifically is about resourcefulness. We'll see further, we'll see more as the message goes further, but yes, resourcefulness coming through. Rescuer, what did I say? First responder. Oh my God, you guys, I promise I do not look at these cards. And I also said firefighter energy coming through. I love myself. I love my connection to spirit so much. And I'm so glad that you guys like saw me pray to spirit at the beginning of this. And like I told you, like my candle and all this other stuff, because it really, it just reaffirms. It reaffirms that like I'm doing the right thing. I love my job. And I was not always like super sure that this was the right career path for me, but like, ugh, I love this job. But yeah, rescuer, it says here, someone may enter your life and help you resolve any difficulties you're experiencing. You could be that person for other people where you're like, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to figure out how to resolve any difficulties in this scenario, in this situation, even if I have to do it in a way that other people don't expect, even if I have to do something as crazy as running into a burning building that other people would be running away from, right? If I'm running towards a situation that other people would be running away from, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it with resolve. I'm going to do it with determination, dedication, that kind of thing, right? Yeah, there's just this level of determination coming through this Mad Woman that again, like the pride is coming through. You know, no matter what you look like, no matter, what is that song? No matter what you look like. No, is that from like a Disney movie? I feel like I just saw that the other day, but I'm not remembering what it is. Is that from Princess and the Frog? Maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna look that up. Hold on. Yeah, it is from Princess and the Frog. It is from Dig a Little Deeper. The old like witch lady who they do think is crazy. She's singing it, right? And she like has her pot, her cauldron over it. She's a witch, right? Whatever. But like in that movie, Princess and the Frog, Tiana and Naveen both get turned into frogs and they have to learn how to Not judge people by their appearances, right? Not judge people by what's on the outside, but by the content of their character. And I think that you are the type of person who your personality and your character matters much more to you than your looks. Maybe your looks matter to you too, but also like the skills that you have. Like I mentioned earlier, like survivalist skills, whether that applies to you or not, it's just like the skills that you have matter to you 10 times more than what you look like. You might look amazing. And if you look amazing, you probably also have like incredible skills. You probably also have an incredible personality as well because you've taken time to develop the inside, and your character and the strength of your character is really important to you. It says here, consider careers as a firefighter, paramedic, or any rescue or heroic profession. So heroic profession, you can take that into your interpretation because you never really know like what a hero looks like. You know what I mean? So kind of taking it back to like the spicy accountants or the SWs, right? Some people who are really not feeling very good about themselves or about their lives, like SWs do not always perform schmexual acts whenever they go on an appointment. You know? Thinking about, for example, The Catcher in the Rye, that book. Holden Caulfield, he has an appointment with a schmostitute and they don't do anything. He just talks to her, you know what I mean? And you really never know, like, listening to somebody might just save their life. You know what I mean? So you don't know what a heroic profession exactly looks like. You don't know what a hero exactly looks like. But it's about developing those skills that will help you survive or help other people survive, right? So that is definitely part of your zone of genius. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's quite the opposite. It shows your strength. You're also, because you're so passionate about certain things, you're not afraid to ask somebody, how can I get better at this as well? We have here setbacks. Interesting. So I think that whether you're in a time of setback, which we've talked about several of those, or if other people are in a time of setback, you're able to help them. I'm going to go ahead and move this over here because I don't want it to have the glare on it. Your attempts to increase your income have largely been unsuccessful. That might apply to you. It doesn't have to apply to you. I think just the word setbacks is more of the thing that applies here, but we do have this financial setback is forcing you to get more organized with your finances. Don't lose hope. Use this time to learn from your mistakes, right? So any setback that you've had, I think that it just lights a fire underneath you and it allows you to figure out how to move forward. We did talk about maybe like if you have in the identifiers, I mentioned there's might be people in this pile who have like a terminal or chronic illness or something like that. So whether you're dealing with some sort of body issue or you've just had a setback in your life, whether it's financial, career-wise, family-wise, emotionally, that kind of thing, you've figured out ways to use it to fuel you to move forward. And then we have here, La Vecchia Signora. This is the old woman here in reverse. I think that you're not the type of person to let your age stop you from learning new things. I think that you are a lifelong learner. And I also think that you can help make people feel young again is one thing that I'm getting here as well. You may also help people who are immobile in some way or who are not just like not living their best lives, where like the fire in their eyes, the fire in her eyes, the fire in her eyes. Dangerous by the Yin Yang Twins. That song is coming through. I think you might be the type of person who, like I said, really thrives in dangerous positions or either puts yourself in dangerous positions and knows how to get out of them. But if somebody around you has kind of like lost their spark, lost their fire for life, their joy for life, I think you really inspire them and you can help them to kind of figure out how to get it back as well too. You know, I think you kind of have that idea of like, no, not all is lost, nothing is lost. Isn't that a song by Coldplay? Here, it says, it is important right now to take a step back, setback. Here we go, interesting. To take a step back and spend some time alone. We talked about isolation. Instead of placing your focus on another, now is the time to give to yourself. So you might really have, as I mentioned earlier, a really, almost like a Captain Save-A-Ho type of attitude. I didn't say that specifically, but I did say that like you could inspire other people or you could really help other people and you're really good in those kinds of situations. And Spirit is saying that sometimes you think you overextend yourself. Sometimes you overextend yourself when it comes to those types of things. And so you need to kind of watch out a little bit because you don't want to put yourself in a situation where, you know, you're no longer able to do the things that you need to do, right? Going back to that movie, the one that I don't remember the name of, there was a point when she like accidentally like stabs herself in the leg or something like that, and so it really hampers her ability to move around and all this other kind of stuff. And like you got to do what you got to do, but you also need to be careful. You don't want to end up hurting yourself through overexertion, you know. I also want to say, and like, I don't know, this is kind of macabre, but I'm being called to say it. There's some of you guys who kind of maybe think that you won't live long, or maybe you were told that you wouldn't live long. You know how there are like a lot of those cases where like a baby comes into the world and the doctor tells the mom like, oh, the baby's not going to live past like 6 months, and then the baby is now like 25, right? That kind of scenario is coming through. So there's this idea of like, let me do what I can while I can and have this passion for life while I can. Or you might be in like a dangerous job where maybe people don't live very long, you know, like a soldier, a firefighter, police officer, that kind of thing. And some of those people do live a long, nice long life, but some of them don't, right? So there could be that kind of like putting other people ahead of yourself at your expense. That energy is coming through. And so Spirit just wants to gently remind you that it is important to take a step back, take some time to yourself, right? Take some time to yourself, give to yourself, invest in yourself, and don't let that fire go out. That fire, you need to like stoke it back up, okay? Find your way towards it. You see how like both of these characters are heading towards that fire? If you have lost your fire or you can feel your fire going out, you need to find a way back to it, okay? Even if the way that you get back there is like a little bit mad, a little mad. London was coming through in our identifiers as well. And so, yeah. Also, I'm thinking now about Alice in Wonderland when the Cheshire Cat was like, we're all mad here. Yeah, okay. Secret admirer. Ooh, okay, this is random. I didn't even understand why I included these cards in it, but these cards wanted to be in this reading so bad, so I let them come. But yeah, it says, secret admirer, someone has deeper feelings for you than they are letting on. Honestly, going back to the whole Captain Save-A-Ho thing, right? I feel like people might easily get crushes on you or might easily be interested in you because you are so strong or like you have this very strong persona. It doesn't matter what gender you identify as. I think that people just see you as like a survivor. Reba, she says, I'm a survivor. In that song, doesn't she talk about how her doctor told her she wasn't going to live very long? Isn't that some of the lyrics? That's the Reba theme song, but it's called I'm a Survivor. Yeah, she was like, I was born 3 months too early. The doctor gave me 30 days, but I must have had my mama's will and God's amazing grace. I guess I'll keep on living, even if this love's to die for, because your bags are packed and I ain't crying and you're walking out. I'm not trying to change your mind because I was born to be the baby girl without a chance, a victim of the circumstance, the one who ought to give up, but she's just too hard-headed. Oh my gosh, yes, yes. Okay. A single mom who works 2 jobs, who loves her kids and never stops, with gentle hands and the heart of a fighter. I'm a survivor, okay? So yes, that is like, if it's not already, that could be your theme song. If it's not already, that could be your theme song, okay? And I think a lot of people really see this quality in you and they really appreciate it about you. They really are like, dang, that person, like, you know, I wish I had some of what they have, but I also just like really like them. So you might not know how many people have crushes on you or who might want to be around you, but people really admire you. Even if they don't say anything about it, even if they never tell you that they admire you, you know, just know that you have a lot of people who either wish that they could be like, they want to be you or they want to be like you or they want to be with you, right? Silly, but it's true. Also thinking about how kind of like societally People often will have admiration for soldiers, firefighters, first responders, you know, doctors, medical professionals, nurses. There's just a lot of admiration for those people in general, and we really look up to and we really revere them. So I think that you might have some of that kind of status either in your family, in your community, or, you know, just in general. Yeah. So my camera actually died. I don't remember what I said, but we're going to go ahead and just turn the card over. We have here femme fatale. So I do remember something that I said. I was talking about how does the femme fatale kind of line up with what I was just talking about with like the first responders and all of these like heroic figures. I already talked a little bit about how some people, especially people who are like really lonely or who need an outlet, they turn to those kind of femme fatale kind of figures for solace and almost like therapy in some kind of ways, right? And I also mentioned earlier how like people, they want to either be you or be with you. And that's that femme fatale energy that you have of like being able to use what you have to get where you need to go. And that's exactly what SWs do, right? Also, some of you guys might have this, there's like a little bit of, I don't want to say a darker side, I guess I am being called to call it that, where you might almost not like take advantage of somebody's knowing, like if you know that somebody has a crush on you, for example. I wouldn't say you necessarily take advantage of it, but you play it up. You know what I mean? Yeah, you definitely are able to kind of use it, I guess, yeah, use it to your advantage, use it to the best of your ability to kind of make the best of a situation. Okay, so yeah. You definitely are admired by a lot of people, but I can see that there might be some people who don't have the best opinion of you sometimes. So for example, police officers. Some people really admire them. Some people really don't like them, right? So yes, I think you are the type of person who has a lot of skills and you don't let what the haters say get you down, okay? Femme fatale, we have here the light attributes and then the shadow attributes. Let me go ahead and read those to you. Light attributes are highlighting the erotic energy of the feminine, opens your heart when your dependency is rejected. The shadow attributes are inappropriate use of sensuality and attachment to money and power. This did come out in the upright, so we're going to use the light attributes, but we will take the shadow attributes into account just kind of like we just did in a few moments ago. So yeah, highlights the erotic energy of the feminine. Knowing how to use what you have to get what you want, that's what I'm talking about. Opens your heart when your dependency is rejected. And the dependency being rejected, a femme fatale, they don't need anybody, okay? You don't need anybody. You have the skills to survive on your own. You're a fighter, right? So that's like very sexy to a lot of people. It's very, again, very admirable to a lot of people. And I think that you know this, and then you also know how to kind of like take care of business when it gets down to it. I'm thinking about firefighters now. Like going back to the whole stripper thing, there are male strippers, right, who will dress up like firefighters. And it's because everybody knows firefighter is like a sexy job, right? Even firefighters know that it's a sexy job. So I'm sure that there are firefighters out there. I've dated one who was like kind of using their career as a thing that would like attract people to them more. You know what I mean? So yes, yeah, let's just go ahead and go with that. But yes, this is part of your zone of genius. Knowing how to work with what you have in terms of survival, but also in terms of like social situations, knowing how to use that to kind of make the best of it, to get the best outcome, whether it's in an actual life or death scenario, or if it's in a social scenario. All right. So yeah, your zone of genius. The word conniving comes up. That's more of like a negative connotation. I prefer resourceful. Your zone of genius, yes. Some people I definitely think could take you the wrong way. But there are a lot of people, again, who really admire you and really like you. Okay, so yeah, Spirit, can you tell us more about Paltu's zone of genius, please? We have here the King of Cups. Yes. So you also are very emotionally intelligent. That's part of what makes you such a good listener. And I think listening is one of your superpowers as well. Because you listen and you know when to take action. Three of Pentacles in reverse. I think you're also the type of person who knows when to work smarter and not harder. And I think also you might have really strong principles in terms of like who you'll work with and who you won't work with. You know what I mean? Yeah. What else do we have here? Page of Pentacles in reverse. You know when something's a waste of time and you don't like to waste your time, especially because you could be in a situation where maybe you don't have a lot of time left, or like I said before, maybe you were told originally that you didn't have a lot of time, even if it has been disproved. Maybe that has like stuck with you and you just like, you're like, well, I wasn't supposed to live this long. Who knows? Tomorrow's never promised, right? So I definitely think you could have that kind of attitude, whether that comes from something that the doctor told you or just like from the maybe everyday hazards of your work or your job or something like that. We have here the Six of Cups in reverse and the Chariot in reverse. You don't like to like wax poetic about the past. I think you're probably not very nostalgic. I think you're very much like a present moment, living in the present moment type of person. Fire, for example, can only exist in the present moment, right? There's like a spark that needs to go and then it burns and maybe the candle burns out or maybe you blow it out, but it can't exist in the future and it can't exist in the past, right? It only exists now. Like maybe the memory of the fire exists, but like fire is a very much present moment type of energy. And I think that you like to live in the present. Excuse me. With the Chariot here, there could be a little bit of a superiority complex that's coming through. I think just maybe because you have skills or you know things, whether it's physical skills or knowledge, you know things that other people don't know, it kind of automatically puts you in a place where you're not equally yoked with them, where you're not necessarily able to always bring people with you when they might want to come with you. That's one thing. Some of you guys might have mobility issues, like I mentioned before. Some of you guys might be like on disability checks or something like that. With this Three of Pentacles here in the reverse, the Page of Pentacles here in reverse, and then the Chariot here in reverse, I would not be surprised if we had some people who were in wheelchairs or didn't work because of illness or disability or something like that. But even so, regardless of what that situation is, I think that it has given you a lot of time to figure out who you really are, figure out the things that you really like, the things that you are interested in, and how to use those, again, to the best of your ability. Going back to the whole disability check thing, it really could just be like, even if you get a small amount of money from that, you really like learned how to budget really well. It could really just be as simple as that. You make the best out of what you have with what you make the best you can out of what you have, right? We've been saying that this whole time throughout this whole reading. And so that can go with budgeting as well too. Like even if you have a smaller budget, I think that you learned how to make the best out of it. Or some of you might be in the process of learning right now as well. What do we have here? The Moon in reverse. I think that you're not the type of person who likes to keep secrets. I think you'd rather have all the information out in the open, because the more information you have, the better you can use it and the better you can like work with it, right? So for example, let's say that there is an emergency, right? There's no point in keeping secrets during an emergency, because what if the information that you have could help us all survive? You know what I mean? So I think that you don't really like secrets. I do see you as being very in touch with your intuitive side, because we have this King of Cups here. I think that you're just the type of person where it's like what you see is what you get. You keep things on the surface. And that's why we talked about before the Princess and the Frog, and like digging a little deeper, and like how your personality matters more to you than your looks or what's on the outside. Because to you, surface level things are stupid and they don't matter. Like they matter to the degree that you can use them to your advantage, right? But they don't really, that's not what really matters. What really matters is those deeper things, right? And bringing those deeper things to the forefront. is something that I think that you like to do. We have the Hermit here, and this goes back to spending more time alone. It is important right now to take a step back and spend some time alone instead of placing your focus on another. Now is the time to give to yourself. Yes, we also can see that coming through with this Page of Pentacles in reverse, of you turning inward, spending your time and your resources on yourself, okay? So yeah, I am seeing that your zone of genius is figuring out how to better your position with what you have, with what you've been given. You might not have been dealt, the best hand of cards at birth. And maybe you have to go and do a rough job, or a job where you put your life on the line, or maybe you're just in a situation where you don't have a lot. And so you have to do the best you can with what you have and be as resourceful as you possibly can be, right? Sometimes that might turn into conniving type of energy, or maybe other people might see it that way, right? But I do think that, especially if you've come into a setback, take some time to yourself so that you really can focus on how to get out of that, because you have that energy of being able to get out of it. So yeah, using those traits, those femme fatale types of traits, those rescuer and madwoman types of traits, and that passion, that fire, in order to get out of that situation that you're in. You may also, part of your zone of genius could also be getting people to fall in love with you, specifically men. Getting men to fall in love with you. That might be part of your zone of genius. Oh, I think I forgot to say this earlier, but something kind of struck me in the Identifiers, and I don't think that I said it. Miranda Lambert came out in the Identifiers, and then so did Hollywood. And there's this song by the Pistol Annies, which is a country group that Miranda Lambert was a part of, / maybe still is a part of, and it's called Hell on Heels. And they're like, I'm hell on heels, say what you will, I done made the devil a deal. He made me pretty, he made me smart, and I'm gonna break me 1,000,000 hearts. I'm hell on heels, baby, I'm coming for you. And then they talk, when she says something about how like some guy bought her an apartment in Hollywood or whatever. And basically the whole song is like her talking about, all the things that she's been able to get guys to do for her, because she is so smart and pretty, right? And so she's able to use those things to her advantage. And I just kind of think like, yeah, you might be really good at getting guys to fall in love with you, or to give you some of their resources, or whatever it is, even if it's like literally through like a texting app, right? You might not be out there physically doing those things, but you could you could be, but you also don't have to be. There are so many different ways to do that kind of stuff now. But yeah, I think also part of your superpower is knowing how to pull yourself back up after a setback. But maybe one of your weaknesses, or a place where you could be stronger, let's say that, is knowing when to give the time to yourself and spend time alone. You're the type of person who really knows their worth. You're not about to be put in any kind of like third-party situations. You're not about to be put in anything that wastes your time, especially not for the sake of nostalgia or the past. Because again, you're not a particularly sentimental person. At least that's what I'm picking up right now. But you're the type of person who knows your value, and because you're so passionate about yourself and about life and about, other people in the community and stuff like that, I don't think that you would tolerate being put in a position where you're not, where you're having to play second fiddle to somebody else. Yeah. Can we get a clarifier on the Chariot, please? There they are, right there, ready. Ready to come out. We have the 8 of Cups in reverse, 7 of Swords in reverse, the Hanged Man in reverse, and the 9 of Wands in reverse. So this is about returning to a situation that causes like self-sabotage. It could be that people find it hard to walk away from you. That's one thing that I'm getting here. People find it hard to walk away from you. Almost kind of like you might have like an addictive type of personality in some ways. Or because you're so good at what you do, it's like people really need you around. So even if they don't necessarily want to be around you, because remember I kept getting that word conniving, right? Even if people get like upset with you or the way that you handle things, I think that they have a hard time leaving you behind. I think sometimes people kind of like might even worry about you because you have such high emotional intelligence. You might be an empath and you can like really feel and sense what other people are thinking sometimes. And I think that people kind of can be scared by that too, with the Seven of Swords here. I did mention earlier you don't like secrets necessarily, but that does not always mean that you tell the truth. All right, so let's go ahead and get that out of the way. That does not always mean that you tell the truth with the Seven of Swords here. I think that if it made sense, I think that you would, hide the truth for your own motives. There is something to be said here about being, okay, this Eight of Cups, I'm going to talk again about the idea of running into a burning building, okay, to your own detriment. And I know that that's like literally a firefighter's job, right? You're probably not a literal firefighter though. You could be. And if that's the case, you might need to take some time off, babe. I'm not saying don't go do your job, but you might need to take some time off, okay? But most of you guys probably aren't firefighters, okay? And so this is like the energy of going back to help somebody who probably can and needs to help themselves. And if you keep going back for them, you're going to end up getting hurt in the process, okay? So yeah, I think that you sometimes almost give too much, which is part of your issue. Because this Eight of Cups, it's definitely giving like running back into a burning building situation. There's even like these dark clouds on this card that gives like smoke, Yeah, that Captain Save-A-Ho. And I just heard from that J. Cole song, don't save her, she don't want to be saved. Don't save her, she don't want to be saved. You could also play the damsel in distress sometimes. You might play that role for other people. I'm getting that too. Of course, there's two sides to every coin, so we're going to examine both sides. But if you are playing the damsel in distress, it is purely an act because we know how resourceful you are. And so that is where that conniving and deceptive energy can come in. And I think part of this, for some of you guys, there could be a natural ending coming to a situation kind of soon with the Hanged Man in reverse here. A situation that was kind of up in the air or that had maybe stood still for a long time, either emotionally, probably emotionally, but also maybe just like the whole situation that might have been kind of in a stuck space for a long time is actually going to start moving forward at some point. You need to be prepared for that. I don't know that you are prepared for that mentally, but it is going to start moving forward at some point, and it's stuck right now. Whoever you're in this situation with, you're not going to be able to move forward together. You're not going to be able to move forward together. That's part of it. You can't bring everybody with you. This Nine of Wands here in reverse is about I think you're going to have to make a choice as to whether or not you prioritize your own interests or you prioritize the interests of somebody else. So the Nine of Wands is kind of like a soldier, which we've gotten that energy a few times throughout this reading. But it's kind of like a soldier, and in the upright, it depends, I guess, on really the intuitive feeling when you get it. And that's why I said this is a choice, but it can be like you're a soldier in somebody else's army or you're a soldier in your own army. You know what I mean? And I think that you kind of have to make that choice. And you have to figure out which perspective you're going to work from, because one of those choices is not going to work for you. And we've already kind of gone over that with this card right here and the Hermit card right here. Some things are going to be revealed soon. You might even find out that somebody has been dishonest with you. Maybe somebody's been lying to you. And it is going to cause you to have to move forward on your own. Okay? I was not aware that like predictions were going to come with this reading. I think that's interesting because this is like your zone of genius. But we went over your zone of genius like so early on. then I guess I'm not surprised that some predictions are coming out here. And here's what I'll say. If you have been relying on somebody else in some way, shape, or form, let's say, okay, this is just an example. I'm not calling anybody here a con person. Let's just do an example. So, for an example, in White Collar, the TV show, Mozzie talks about how he and this con woman both did sweetheart cons on each other. And they each thought that the other person was like really rich or whatever, and they did sweetheart cons on each other, and then found out later on that they were both con people. He's a con man, she's a con woman. Con people are very resourceful, okay? So they have a lot of confidence, but they also are very resourceful. Whether they have nothing in the bank or they have a whole bunch of money in the bank, they're very resourceful. They know how to make a way out of no way, right? And so let's say that in this example, somebody is doing like a sweetheart con on someone, and then they either get found out or that someone maybe leaves or passes away or whatever, and all of a sudden the con person now, they no longer have access to that sweet deal that they had before, right? You might find yourself having a setback like that scenario where, you know, you were set up real nice and then all of a sudden it's like the rug is ripped out from under you, or you don't have that anymore, or you find out that you and this person can't move forward together in some way, shape, or form. It's okay. You are going to land on your feet just like a cat. You are going to figure out your next steps, and you're going to use what you have to do what you can and to make it work. That is your zone of genius, your superpower. So no matter what setbacks you have, no matter what scenarios you have, no matter who comes and goes into your life, no matter who you can or cannot take forward with you, you are going to be fine. You're always going to be fine because you have the survival skills to save yourself and others, but mostly yourself. I think it's important to go back to that sense of like pride that I had in the beginning of this reading, because not only is this the Pride Tarot that we're using here, but also, again, I think that some people might really admire you. Just like going back to the whole con person thing, there are some people who are really fascinated by con artists. And then there are some people who have been tricked by con artists and really hate them, right? Not everybody is for everyone. That's number one. Number two is not everybody's going to understand your way of life. And I'm not advocating for anybody to go out conning people, tricking people, whatever. I'm not advocating for that. What I am saying is that if you have made a way out of like a bad situation, a shitty situation, whatever it may be, or if you help other people make their ways out of shitty situations, you should be proud of that. And I want you to just remind yourself to take pride in who you are, pick yourself up, and keep on going. I find it interesting that there are 3 references to like burning things in this reading. So in this 9 of Wands, it's giving like something got burned down, right? Or like lightning struck and it burned down. We've also got that here in the Rescuer card. And then we've also got that here with this Fire card. And of course we have fire signs as well. So not only the passion aspect, but I'm kind of getting that you might either burn bridges easily is one thing, or going back to the whole sentimentality, which is like really where I wanted to go with this. I don't think that you're the type of person to like keep a lot of keepsakes, for example. You might move pretty frequently, or you know, just kind of feel like there's not as much value in things as there is in money or skills or whatever, right? I do think you place an importance on being as healthy as you can be, but maybe not so much importance in terms of like stuff. I wouldn't be surprised also possibly some of you guys went through like a house fire or something like that, you know? That is coming up. I don't know how many people that would be for, but I would not be surprised if somebody did kind of face a difficulty like that at some point in their life. Or they might just be the type of person, like I said, who just doesn't keep a lot of things. Like if you move, you sell most of your stuff instead of taking it with you, right? It's like a scorched earth kind of approach to life. Yeah. And they do say that, like, after a forest fire, the soil has a lot of nutrients in it. So I think that you're not afraid of starting over. I think that you're not afraid of that because you know that you have the resources that you need. And whatever it is that you need, you have that naturally. So you don't need to always hold on to stuff or be particularly sentimental about things or about people from the past in general. Because you know that you get the skills, you can always get another one, right? Oh, going back to white collar, they talk about burning identities. So like a con person who makes up a fake identity, if that identity gets found out to be fake, then that identity is like burned, right? That's what they call it. So you might not be afraid to, like, quote unquote burn an identity because you're like, I can get another one, right? So yeah. And I think you're in this just like mental space of abundance where you know that you can always get what you need and you can always get more of what you need. So thank you for stopping by and for watching this reading with me. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I love you so very much. And I will see you guys sometime in the future. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, but also I want to encourage you guys to look in the description box. I do have tarot journals and abundance journals in the description box. I'm actually specifically really getting that the abundance journal would be a very, very good tool for you because it specifically talks about like building skills and building knowledge to be able to pick yourself up and get to that space of abundance in the face of a setback. So yeah, that might be a good thing for you to check out. Alrighty then. Love you, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Hello, Tarot family. If you chose pile 3, we're going to go ahead and get into your identifiers right now. If you are interested in skipping this part, you just want to go straight to the part with the cards, there is another timestamp down below, and it will say pile 3 reading. All right. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's see who this pile is for. Guides, angels, benevolent ancestors, higher self, please disconnect me from the energy in pile 2 and connect me to the energy in pile 3. Let's find out who my pile 3 people are. Thank you. A little bit of a reset there. Who's in pile 3? Who are my pile 3 people? While I'm doing this, now is an excellent time for you to give this video a thumbs up, give it a like, and to subscribe to the channel. When you like the video, it helps other people to find it. It helps it to appear on their homepage in case they need to hear the message as well. Spirit, who else is in pile 3? Alright. This is a much smaller pile than the other two, apparently. So we'll see. Actually, you know what? I can't say that for sure because I did pile 1 quite a long time ago. I just did pile 2 earlier today, but I did pile 1 a while ago. And I don't remember how big pile 1 was. Anyway, the way that these work is at least one of the things on these slips should be significant to you, familiar to you. It could have shown up in your life recently, even if it was just in passing, like the past couple of days, weeks, or months, but in a way that you would remember. All right? Graphic novel. There should be something that is almost like a aha kind of moment. Like, oh yeah. Maybe like you're writing a graphic novel. Maybe that's your favorite genre of books, is that you mostly read graphic novels. Maybe you illustrate a graphic novel or something like that. Or somebody just gifted you one, right? New Orleans, Louisiana. You could live there. Maybe you just visited there. It's a very popular tourist destination. Maybe you're from there or your family's from there. Or maybe you just ate like a New Orleans style seafood restaurant the other day or something like that, right? Maybe somebody went to New Orleans in a movie that you watched recently. Mugler, that's a designer. Who's next? Alrighty, let's see. Old Greg. I'm Old Greg. That was like an old YouTube video featuring, what is that man's name? Noel Felding from Great British Bake Off, but he was like in disguise. There's like this green guy, old Greg. Lobster. So I did mention like seafood just now. So seafood is definitely coming through. Lobster makes me think of Maine, but you know, there are lobsters other places. Nice by Beyonce and Jay-Z, The Carters. I just heard that song the other day. Maybe this is my pile. Who knows? Because I'm nice, 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 nice. I'm so nice. Beyonce rapping on this song is like so good. People don't think of her as a rapper, but she does. She knows how to spit some bars. Keke Palmer, another multi-talented black queen. We love us for real. If you don't know who Keke Palmer is, then you either don't watch TV, you're not American, or you just are not online. The Format, that's a band. The guy from Fun, he used to be in that band before he was in Fun. Why can't Nate Rouse? There's all these N names coming through, like Noel and Nate. So maybe somebody with a name that starts with N is coming through. Blues, like blues music, or also the color blue. Either of those could be significant. So like maybe your blue is your favorite color. Maybe you're wearing blue right now. Maybe you love blues music. Maybe you play blues music. Maybe you're listening to blues music. Red Hot Chili Peppers, that's a band. Rock and roll was inspired by blues music. So like maybe blues is like something that inspires you. Something like that. Like thinking about also Picasso, he had like a blue period, right? So blue could just be very inspiring to you at this time. Also makes me think of Throat Chakra as well. Zach Brown Band. Why did I say band? Zach Brown Band. Colder Weather. That's a song. That's so funny. I'm not going to cut that out because, I don't know, maybe somebody has like a joke about that or something that I'm not aware of. Maybe I just became like cosmically aware of it. Even if I'm not consciously aware of it. Toni Morrison. Love her. Author and editor. If you haven't seen her biography, the movie on Netflix, go watch it. Breaking Free, Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens, High School Musical. So Zac, specifically ZAC, that is coming through. We've seen it twice now. Zac Efron and Zac Brown Band. Yeah. Interesting. You know, there's lots of different ways to spell Zac. So ZAC is coming through, but I guess other Zacs could work as well. 1894 by Amber Mark. That's a song. I'm a flex on the floor. This ain't 1894. Let's see. This one is like, I'm having a tough time opening it. Ooh, Crush, Jennifer Page. Interesting. Maybe you have a crush on somebody. Maybe you heard that song recently. Maybe you're having like a hard time kind of getting through to your crush recently. It's just a little thing. All right. Not like everything I do depends on you. Sha-la-la-la. My voice is not at its best today. Ignore that, you guys. We've got number 18, so that could be significant to you somehow. Maybe you just had your 18th birthday. If you're under 18, you should not be watching these videos. You know better. I'm wagging my finger at you. 18, you could be born on the 18th. You could have 18 people in your family or 18 people like on a team that you're on or something like that. Maybe you live on the 18th floor. Ooh, quarter. So the French Quarter, since we have New Orleans and Quarter here, the French Quarter is like very significant right now. But maybe you have a quarter in your pocket, or maybe like your school is on the quarter system or something like that. Driving at night. Maybe you like to go driving at night. Maybe you recently took one of those like horse carriage rides in the French Quarter or something, you know? Driving at night. Let's see. Asami from The Legend of Korra. Speaking of graphic novels, I don't know if they actually did graphic novels for The Legend of Korra, but they did do them for Avatar: The Last Airbender. So, if you haven't read them, they're cute. They're very cute. It's like kind of weird though, because in the graphic novels and like the comics, Aang and Katara are like together at that point. So it's like, it's a different storyline. But that is how you find out what happened to Zuko's mom if anybody is curious. So yeah, lemongrass. That could be a scent, it could be a flavor, it could even be like the name of a restaurant. Lemongrass. That was the name of a restaurant me and my friends used to go to. It was a Thai restaurant. Key tattoo. Maybe you have one. Maybe you're thinking of getting one. Maybe your boo has a key tattoo. Ooh, that rhymed. And then the ooh rhymed too. Am I an author? Technically, yes, I am an author. Go check out my journals. They're available for sale. The links are down below. But like, oh my gosh. Wow. I always knew I was a poet. All black everything. I was gonna say there's a lot of like African American energy coming through. I already talked about Beyonce, Kiki Palmer, then we had Toni Morrison, and I was like, yes, black queens coming through, right? But yes, all black everything, love that. But you also could just be like dressed in all black. Black could be your favorite color. You don't have to be African American or black in any way for that to apply to you, but you might have just listened to that song, All Black Everything. Oh wait, I'm thinking about All Gold Everything by Trinidad James. Anyway, that song too. The Saddle Club. That was a show for like tweens. I think it's Australian. It might be like from New Zealand, but I think it's Australian. It's about girls who ride horses. 10 Things I Hate About You. Iconic film starring Heath Ledger and Julia Stiles. Based on a Shakespearean play. Nicki Minaj, Marilyn Monroe. So either of these women could separately be an indicator for you, but also Nicki Minaj has a song named after Marilyn Monroe. So any of those three things, those three elements could work. The Good Place, that's a TV show starring Kristen Bell, Jamila Jamil, Ted Danson, some other people. Pranks, Punked. So you might enjoy pranks. Maybe somebody recently played a prank on you. Punked was a TV show where Ashton Kutcher went around pranking people like other celebrities. So yeah, interesting. Lose My Breath, Destiny's Child. Okay, Beyonce coming out twice. We have Nice by Beyonce, Jay-Z, and now we have Lose My Breath by Destiny's Child, which Beyonce was very famously a member of. So yes, Beyonce. We've got Love, Tiana Taylor featuring Ms. Lauryn Hill. Love it. 2 more amazing black queens. We love it. We love it. We love it. We love it. It's like 3 in the morning. Is it? Is that true? Maybe. Janet Jackson. Ooh. Okay, you guys. The energy is undeniable. I was like trying to like deny it a little bit with my 3 in the morning comment just to like, I was so excited. But no, the energy is undeniable. Now we have here American Honey. That is a movie starring, what's that girl's name? Sasha Lane, I think, and Shia LaBeouf. Ooh, I didn't realize both their initials were SL. Interesting. I had no idea until just now. I guess I did have an idea because like I knew their names, but I didn't make the connection until just now. That's how I should phrase that. It's important to be impeccable with your word. Maybe some of you guys are reading the 4 agreements. That might be part of this too. Anyway, I'm going to go write these down in my tarot journal. As I said, I do have tarot journals for sale. They are down below in the description box. Go ahead and check them out. And also the abundance journal that I have for you guys as well could be really helpful if you're on a financial literacy journey, financial independence journey. All right. Yes. All right. I'll see you guys in just a second. Hey there, welcome pile 3. Welcome to my lovely tarot family. I love you all. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Don't forget to like this video and to subscribe to the channel. We're gonna go ahead and get straight into these cards. We're finding out what is your zone of genius. Okay, I actually pulled some oracle cards ahead of time for us to get into first before we do the tarot. So let's go ahead and do these. Guides, angels, benevolent ancestors, higher self, thank you so much for bringing us here together at this time. Let's get this message nice and clear for pile 3. All right, ooh, the thief. Maybe you guys are out here stealing hearts, stealing ... hearts. Your zone of genius, maybe you're really good at plotting, scheming, planning heists. That's going to be a very specific message because I know we don't have a whole bunch of bank robbers out here. We could have hackers in the crowd, okay? You might be, there is like a ladder, there is, you know, a window. You could be really good at climbing. You might be into construction of some kind, home repair of some kind. You might be really good at disguises, all right? Yes, masks might have something to do with it. Masking. We're not going to take things always at face value. We're going to, of course, get out the rest of the cards and find out what they have to say. The Thief, the number 33 is coming through, so definitely this has something to do with work, which, of course, if we're thinking about our zone of genius, I think that we would probably be trying to figure out how to monetize it. I'll also say this could be for some of you guys like climbing the corporate ladder and like figuring out the best ways to politically maneuver in order to get what you want in a corporate environment, okay? Especially if you have maybe like a non-traditional background or if you have like a lot of competition, you know? It reminds me of this movie. I feel like I've talked about this movie before on my channel. I don't remember what the movie is called though. Leslie Bibb is in the movie. I think it's called like Miss Perfect or something like that. She starts off as like a secretary in this company, and then she ends up getting promoted after she kind of like fakes part of her resume or whatever. She gets promoted, she gets this job that she was kind of in competition with this other secretary for, and one of her new coworkers, like somebody else is brought in, so she gets the job, but then they turn out to hire somebody else externally, and they're gonna like put her back to being a secretary. But then the new hire like mysteriously dies, and it truly was an accident, but she was there, right? So, you know, if anybody finds out she was there, they could potentially maybe try and like frame her for murder or whatever, right? So she goes through this whole corporate chain of all these things, and it's just like a whole bunch of foolishness. It's entertaining. I don't want to spoil the movie if you guys haven't seen it, but it just reminds me of like the nefarious things that people might do in order to get what they want or to climb a ladder of some kind, okay? So you might be a little bit, it's interesting because I asked like specifically to disconnect from the energy of pile 2 and to reconnect and to connect to the energy of pile 3, but the word conniving keeps coming up, and that came up in pile 2 as well. So interesting. I think that there could be some brilliant geniuses out here. Maybe, I think that pile 2, I don't want to make any assumptions. Let's just go ahead and keep going. I don't want to make any assumptions. Promoter, interesting. That's so funny that I was talking about the corporate ladder and like promotions and stuff, right? And I promise I have not looked at these. I actually prepared these piles so long ago. They've been sitting on the floor near my desk because like my desk is really low to the ground. I'm a floor sitter. And I haven't looked at them at all. I didn't even look at them when I pre-pulled them, but they've been sitting there. So this energy has been like waiting to come out. Promoter. This could be, some of you guys might be really good at like sneaking into clubs and stuff like that. Sneaking into spaces where you're not supposed to be, like trying to get backstage at a concert, right? Something like that. You might be really gifted in that area. But promoter definitely makes me think of like climbing to new heights, reaching goals, even if it's not always through the most admirable way. Does anybody really like admire club promoters? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't think the answer to that question is yes, but here, I'll let you read this and see what it says. Promoter. If there is a new idea or project manifesting, know that it has great potential for success. Ooh. Careers in the nightlife industry, events, or restaurant industry could be right for you. Also, some of you guys might work in like PR, public relations, or marketing as well. Use the law of attraction for money. Be the energy you want to attract. Yes. This is about bringing good energy to a space to get yourself additional opportunities, okay? Say yes to the things that you think you can't do. This thief, they are not about to say no to money. They're not about to say no to money. They welcome it in all forms, right? And they're going to do what they got to do to get it done. Interesting. There's definitely some ties here to pile 2. Interesting, but whatever. We'll see. What's next? Let's keep going here. We've got Casa in reverse. That's so interesting. So casa means house. House in reverse, this is like lack of security. Maybe some of you guys work in like club security. Like we could have some bouncers. We could have some people who maybe are on like the scarier side coming through, like physically scary or intimidating coming through here. And so even if you're not a thief, which I hope that you're not, and I'm whatever, I was about to be like, unless let me not instigate people on the internet. I was gonna be like, hackers can be kind of cool as long as they're not hacking me. I always thought it'd be interesting to be a hacker, like, you know, Rihanna's character on Ocean's 8. Anyway, this house in reverse is making me think that the house is not secure. And already here we also have an unsecure house, an insecure house. Unsecured, I think that would be right, right? Okay, we've got here Morte. Interesting. Do we have criminals in here? Are there criminals in pile 3? I don't know. I don't want to say that anybody's zone of genius is breaking and entering. I don't think that that's accurate. I'm not going to say that. You know what is so funny? I started playing The Sims recently, and it was my first time playing Sims 4. And I made a character, and she looked exactly like me. And when it came time to like give her a career, of course, like tarot reader was not available. Tisk tisk. And neither was any of the other things that I've done in the past, which, like, I used to be a teacher, psychologist, many things, DJ, lots of things. They didn't have any of those available, or any of the other things that I have done in the past were available. And I was like, this is a silly game. Let me go ahead and pick something silly. And one of the career paths that they had was criminal. So I chose it because I thought it would be funny to play as a criminal. It turns out it was very boring. I guess, I don't know if you need like an expansion pack, because when the sim goes to work, they just fast forward time. You're not like with them at work, you know? If you haven't played Sims 4, then I guess you don't know. But in the base game, when the sim goes to work, they just fast forward the clocks. Like, my sim was at work for all these extra hours. It was like more than 8 hours a day, and they weren't even bringing home that much money. And I was like, what's the point of being a criminal if you're not going to bring home that much money? You know what I mean? So I ended up switching her career to musician, which still wasn't a DJ. I do play some instruments, but still, whatever. That's enough about The Sims. But I just am here to say that I understand the silly appeal, but I hope that you're not actually out here breaking and entering, doing any dangerous activities or hurting people. Let's just say that, okay? Interesting enough. Maybe some of you guys are like morticians. We'll see what else we have here. Mercante. That's a merchant in reverse. So they're like, no, we're not selling it. We're not selling it. Or you could be selling it underhandedly, right? Like to a fence. If you watch White Collar, you know what that means. A fence is like somebody who takes stolen goods and then resells them. Or you could be taking them like to the pawn shop, which is honestly like the dumbest thing that you could do. According to the TV, again, I'm not a criminal. In real life, I don't know anything about crime other than what happened on The Sims, which was really, again, not much. But yes, what is your zone of genius? Let's keep going. We're going to keep going. Manifesting miracles. So this is the second mention of manifesting. With say yes to the things that you think you can't do, and then actually, I guess the third, use the law of attraction for money, be the energy you want to attract. Manifesting miracles, your dream is soon to become reality. Trust your heart and continue to follow its guidance. So it's interesting because pile 2, I could tell right away what the energy was. So that, in that sense, it was very different. Pile 3, there could be a sense of like, I know what the energy is, but I don't want to believe it. That could be one possibility. Or the possibility number 2 is that there's just more to the message and I have to see the rest of the message in order to have a full picture. And 2 things can't be true at once. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. Also, I think there's interest. I brought up white collar, which is like a reference to white collar crime versus, for example, like blue collar crime. Do they have like a no collar crime? I don't know. The collar colors are supposed to be like referential to what kind of work you do. So, for example, pink collar would be like healing type of jobs, like nurses or teachers. Jobs, I guess, that normally women have, and that's why they put them on pink collars, but whatever. Or that's why they call it pink collar. But yeah, not all criminals are created equal. So just kind of like the energy in pile 2 was very different, even though it had some similarities. Not all people who do things are in the same bucket, we'll put it that way. Interesting. You guys seem to have like a lot of trust in the universe that things will go well. I'm intrigued. Let's find out what else we have here. Let there be closeness between you, but always give each other space. Love never claims, it simply allows and gives. I really was not sure why these cards wanted to be part of this reading. I asked my journal. I have like a whole list of cards, like all the decks that I have is like listed in the back of my journal. And I asked which cards like want to be part of the reading. And this one said that I wanted to be here, so we're going to leave it. We're going to let it be. And it has made sense. They've made sense in the other piles, so I'm going to assume that they're going to make sense here, but I think I need to see the whole picture. You might be really good at planning stuff, okay? You might be really good at seeing the bigger picture and planning things. Like that's why I had like the heist analogy earlier, because it's like you're the type of person who can really pull it off. Not necessarily pull off a heist, but like let's say that you planned a party and it was very extravagant and there were things that like you thought maybe you couldn't do, like you wanted to have a tiger at the party, or you wanted to have the party at like a really hard to get venue, or you know, whatever. Where other people would be like, no, that dream is dead. I think that you're the type of person who's like, no, I can pull this off. I can do this. And you're able to manifest miracles. I think you also not only are very trusting of your partners and like your work partners and your friends, but you also are not the type of, you could have like a Robin Hood kind of mentality as well. Because with the whole merchant being in reverse, this being like, it's not for the sale, it's not about the money. Some of you guys might just do things for the thrill of it. That's number one. But also here with like, love never claims, it simply allows and gives. It makes me think of Robin Hood, like steal from the rich to give to the poor kind of scenario. Interesting. Give thanks for the blessings of love soon to come your way. Know that you deserve to be and have all that your heart truly desires. So yeah, I think that you do things for the thrill of it. You do things because you just kind of love how it feels. And also because you like the idea of blessing other people. Interesting. Let's see if this tool card, tools, the band tool could be significant somehow, or maybe you are like a handyman, you use tools. Thinking about the neighbor or the friend who was on Home Improvement with Tim Allen. I've seen him in some commercials lately. I don't know what his name is, but that guy with the beard. Poop. Yeah, this is so funny. You have such an eclectic energy, whoever you are. You have a very eclectic and interesting energy, but you don't take shit from people. That's real. Yeah, there are some similarities, but there are some key differences between this one and pile 2. So that is sometimes what happens. We'll be like, there'll be a similar story, but with very important differences, which is why it ends up having its own pile. Okay, let's find out what we have here. Rescuer. I'll let you guys read that. I'll read it to you. So rescuer, we have a light attribute and a shadow attribute. Provides strength and support to others in crisis. Acts out of love with no expectation of reward. Interesting. We've been saying that before. Pile 2, very much really the reward was important. But here we have shadow attributes. Assumes all the rescued will reciprocate. Keeps the rescued one needy. Okay, so you might not do things for the actual money or riches. You might do things for the like social connections and clout that it will give you. Like if I give you this, then you're going to help me out sometime in the future, right? I think you guys maybe are more devious or clever than the people in pile 2. I think you use your mind more, whereas the people in pile 2 were more likely to kind of like use their bodies. We're more physical with this, whereas I think that you use your mind, and I think you understand the power of manifesting. You guys are much more cerebral, much more spiritual than pile 2 were. Pile 2 was very much more like earthly kind of energies, whereas I don't think you're particularly tied to that. I think that you like to be able to call in favors, right, in order to kind of get things done. Yeah, let's see. Bully in reverse. I'm not surprised to see this card, actually. Let me go ahead and show it to you. It says, the light attributes highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. The shadow attribute conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. So you have a very interesting energy here that I'm still not totally getting. And I think that that's kind of part of your charm in some cases, is that people don't really know what to make of you. And because people don't know what to make of you, I mentioned like the mask coming through earlier. Because people don't know what to make of you, you're able to get into and out of tight spots pretty easily. And I think that you have the ability to kind of like go into rooms and spaces that other people probably don't have the ability to go into. And it's kind of like on Game of Thrones, Littlefinger, aka Lord Baelish. Nobody except for Sansa really knew what that man wanted. You know what I mean? He had like a whole plot envisioned in his head, and he brought himself all the way up the ladder from nothing, no name. His house had no name, right? This house here in reverse. And he, plotted and would always say yes, even if he meant no. You know what I mean? He would always give himself opportunities. So like if somebody came to him with like a plan or a plot or whatever, he would always tell them yes, even if he wasn't going to go through with it. Because one, he wanted to keep the opportunity open, and two, if you tell somebody no, they're not going to keep giving you information about what they're doing. And so he really understood the value of that. So he was able to manifest his way all the way up to a pretty powerful position before some crazy shit happened. If you haven't seen that show, you can go watch it, Game of Thrones. It's been out for a while, so I'm not going to necessarily spoil it, but he used his relationships to get him farther in life. And I think that you are very good at that, using your relationships to put you where you want to be. However, with that being the case, if somebody doesn't give you what you want, you're very good at intimidating them. Whether it's intentional or not intentional, okay? And I think that you believe that things come from, like maybe when you make deals with people, you believe that you're helping them, or like you're getting what you deserve and they get what they deserve, right? And you're the type of person who dreams really big, and you want big things. You want grandeur, almost like delusions of grandeur is what I'm hearing. And I think that when people kind of like smell the BS going on, that's when you start to get angry and these shadow attributes come out, okay? You thrive off of being needed. You want people to need you. And I think that you'll even go so far as to create situations where somebody is going to need you, possibly even through fear. Like, let's say you're not the person who's fearing, but you are creating, or you're not the person who's to be feared in the situation. Okay, let me bring an example. You and your partner are going out on a date, and your partner is like very independent type of person. And you arrange for somebody like an actor to come up and do something scary in front of your partner, like hit on them really aggressively or pretend to rob them or just, you know, be an asshole or whatever, so that your partner will appreciate your presence in their life because you're stepping up, or at least just being there as a comforting presence. Okay? And so they come to appreciate you, or to need you rather. I don't know if appreciate is the right word, but to need you, because they realize that having you around maybe could help them not be a target for other people. But really, they don't know that you created that situation as a way to manipulate them into needing you or thinking that they need you. I hope you guys could follow that. I hope that that made sense. It's a weird situation. This is a weird talent, a weird zone of genius. I'm not telling you guys to go out and manipulate people. I'm not surprised that this came through, because I've known, and I'm not calling you any names, please don't think that, but I've known a lot of people in my life who were like narcissists and stuff. And this is kind of the energy that that's giving. I'm not saying that you're a narcissist, because if you were maybe raised by a narcissist, or, you know, in a relationship with a narcissist, like we are the combination of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. So you could have picked up some tips and tricks from people without having to be a narcissist yourself, right? Or a sociopath yourself, or whatever, right? So don't be offended. I'm not necessarily calling you that. I'm just saying that you may have learned these things from somebody who had one of those kind of like dark triad personality traits. Okay, let's go ahead and get the tarot, because the tarot is going to give us some more, sorry, I just like that poop card is so funny. Like, part of your zone of genius is appearing like you're not, I don't want to call anybody a piece of shit. That's so mean. Spirit is being mean right now. Whatever. One of your talents is definitely appearing to be better than you are. Let's put it that way. Better, like a better person than you are. All right, Spirit, can you please help us find out what Pile 3's zone of genius is? Because we need clarification on this message. This message has been so random. We could use some clarification on it, please. Thank you. We have the 2 of Cups. So this is about, again, forming relationships. Forming relationships, and I think even just like disguising yourself in that relationship in order to get what you want. So yeah, you could be like not only a master manifestor, you might also be a master manipulator. Oh, Lord. I asked when I said, like, not when I started reading tarot, but when I like knew that I wanted to read tarot like more full time and like really be in my spiritual energy, I asked Source to help me to like raise the vibration of people on Earth. And I just find it interesting the types of vibes that I get, you know, but I guess, and it's interesting too, because like I used to teach 1st grade, and I always would really like working with like the younger kids, because yeah, they have like a long way to go, but you see a lot of progress with them. And I kind of feel like it's the same energy here. Like I could be working with some really low vibrational energies, but that just means that you have a lot of growth potential. And so I hope that you guys are open to growing, because resorting to manipulation is not a good tactic. I do believe that honesty really can be the best policy a lot of the time. Of course, it does depend on like how you're saying things, but I think honesty is a really important thing. Of course, Lord Baelish would disagree with me. And you have Lord Baelish vibes, but at least you don't have Joffrey vibes. There's no Joffrey vibes going on here, and that's so much worse than Lord Baelish, so yeah. Insanity. If you don't know who Joffrey is, go watch Game of Thrones. We have the Warrior of Cups here in reverse. And yeah, so this is like a bad offer being given. Like, you're gifted at making relationships again, despite being maybe dealt a bad hand or not having that much to offer. I think that you're good at making yourself look like a better deal than you are. Is there anything else, Spirit, that these cards can tell us? I'm not going to read that one. It only flipped over for a second, so to me that doesn't count. There's like an exhausted energy here, and I was like very energized to come and do this reading, so interesting. Two of Wands in reverse. This is about making decisions. I kind of feel like you don't like to let people have time to think about things before taking action, because if they think about it too hard, they might see that the choice that you want them to make is not the best choice for them. It might be the best choice for you, but it's probably not the best choice for them. I will say you're very bold. You're very, very bold. And I think that that's something that really serves you very well. I would like clarification on this Morta card, please. Interesting. Four of Wands, which is talking again about a home. The home is coming through so much here. This is giving Saltburn. Did you see that movie, Saltburn? If not, go watch it. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't want to give spoilers. But yeah, I think that you're just really gifted at plotting. At scheming and plotting to get what you want. And there's nothing wrong with that if you're using it for good, if you want good things. But if the things that you want end up hurting other people, then that's not good. Some of you guys might be like, you know what's so funny? A lot of movies are coming up right now, but Wedding Crashers, except it's not the actual Wedding Crashers. It's the part where like Will Ferrell is in it. So Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson, their characters kind of like break up, like they're best friends and they go crash weddings together. And then their characters kind of like break up. They are not having like the best of times. And so Vince Vaughn's character goes to like hang out with Will Ferrell, his like old wedding crasher buddy who taught him how to crash weddings in the first place. And he finds out that Will Ferrell is now, instead of crashing weddings, he's crashing funerals, because there's like all these sad women there who are more likely, he doesn't have to like work as hard to sleep with them, basically. Right? So yeah, I'm definitely getting that kind of like, we'll do kind of really socially unacceptable things to get what you want kind of vibe. And not in a way that is unharming to others. I think that there is kind of a nefarious, that's the word I want to use, especially with bully being here, kind of like a nefarious attitude towards it, where it maybe doesn't really matter to you who gets hurt in the process, as long as you're the one who gets up the ladder. Right? Because you do have really lofty goals, and honestly, I think you're capable of reaching them. But the question is there a better way? Is there a better way to reach them? You know what I mean? And I think that that's the question that Spirit or Source wants you to ask yourself. Because some interesting things here, we've got these like 4 pillars coming up in all 3 of these cards here. There's 4 pillars on this house. There's 4 pillars on this like little bed or like little frame that this coffin is resting on. And then we've got these 4 pillars here in the Four of Wands. And so I think that this is about you finding some values, finding some things that you genuinely value and like putting your energy behind those. Because if all you value is your own self-advancement, then it's hard for you to connect with other people on a real level. And like that's why you're building relationships with them, but really the relationships are empty, you know? And they're very like tit for tat and quid pro quid pro quo, to say the least. Something that I think is interesting here, we've got these 3 heart cards, and I think that those are meant to encourage you to be more grateful to the people around you. You might be good at pretending to show gratitude, but this is a message for you to like genuinely figure out a gratitude practice that you can use with other people to actually like see them as people not worthy of being hurt for no reason. You know what I mean? And that you can still get what you want without having to be in these energies, these shadow attribute energies. Something else interesting coming through is that, and I told you guys, pile 2 had some kind of corresponding energy. I'm not going to call it similar energy anymore because it's a different story. That's why they're different piles. But they also had a card called the Rescuer card. It wasn't from this deck. It was from this deck here. But they had a Rescuer card, and their card was in the upright, whereas yours is here from this deck, and it is in the reverse. And the way that I can interpret that is that I think that the people in pile 2, and you're welcome to watch pile 2 if you resonated with it at all, but the people in pile 2, I think that they saw helping other people as part of their mission and their job on Earth. Whereas I think that you see it as a way to kind of like keep people in your corner, keep people in your pocket, I guess I should say. So thinking back to like Lord Baelish on Game of Thrones, like he saves Sansa from King's Landing, but he does it because he wants to use her as a pawn in his game and marry her to Lord Bolton. You know what I mean? It's not genuinely for her own good, although it did help her. It was ultimately for his own ends, and he actually ended up putting her in a worse position than where she was before, you know? So, yeah. I think that Spirit and Source wants you to know that there are better ways to do these things and still get what you want, and that you can turn to or look to a value system to help you to figure that out, because right now you're on shaky ground, right? Meanwhile, other people, the other people are the ones who have the firm foundations with the houses and stuff. You're the one here on the ladder, right? How are you going to hate from outside the club? You can't even get in, right? And I do sense like a desperation in this energy as well, which is why I think that you might be so obsessed with social climbing, and you might be really good at it. But it pays to have genuine relationships, and genuine relationships are built on values. So look into doing that, you know? You don't always have to be right on top of somebody in order for them to remember that you exist. Like a club promoter, it's like they text you every freaking day. I don't know if you guys have ever lived in a big city, or if you guys were ever like party people, but I used to live in New York, and I would go like to clubs and stuff with some of my friends, and like the promoters would literally be texting every day, and if not every day, it'd be like every other day or every weekend, to be like, hey, we have seats at this place tonight, come through, blah blah blah, this, that, and the other. And it was always something. They were always texting us, wanting us to come through, because, you know, it pays to have pretty girls around you or whatever, especially as a promoter. But like, we didn't really know those guys. We didn't really know them as people, and they didn't really know us. You know, it was more for looks and for show than it was for anything else. And so Spirit here is wanting to tell you that it's important to have deeper relationships, deeper connections built on mutual trust and shared values. And so you should consider kind of reworking yourself and reworking your approach to life, because you can still get the things that you want without having to connive and, you know, do negative things in order to get them. Going back again to Game of Thrones, if possibly, who knows, possibly if Lord Baelish had, you know, just stood by Sansa Sansa ended up being the Queen of the North. Lord Baelish could have ended up being the King of the North if he had played his cards right, but instead he was out here using and abusing everybody. You know what I mean? So if he had built a genuine and deep connection with Sansa instead of just using her as a pawn, he could have ended up King of the North, because she's single at the end of the show. She didn't have anybody with her, right? If he had never married her off to Lord Bolton and instead actually genuinely rescued her and protected her and kept her under his wing, who knows? Who knows how things would have gone? But yeah, he didn't have that in him. He wasn't that type of person. So rethink your approach. Some of you guys might need to contact a professional to help you with that. Professional therapist. Yeah, sorry, I'm not trying to laugh. I just thought about Wedding Crashers again. But yeah. I wish you guys all the best. Don't forget to follow me and to subscribe to the channel. You know, I know that sometimes it's rough to hear messages like this, and it can be very much like in your face, that kind of thing, but the way that Spirit delivers these messages through me is the way that you need to hear them. And so if you're in the market for trying to grow, trying to raise your vibration, trying to get to that next level spiritually, then like, let's work on it together. You know what I mean? So yeah, I wish you guys nothing but the best. See you next time.